That's a live look at downtown St. Louis and Busch Memorial Stadium from the Bud I airship as the St. Louis Cardinals come home and open up a 7-game homestand and the first of 3 against the NL East leading New York Mets. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan McLaughlin. Al Hrabosky alongside, and great to have you along for the first of 3 against the New York Mets. We had a question in our Ask the Broadcaster segment in the pregame show. How important is this series? The Cardinals have faced the Mets 6 times. 6 times they have lost. How important is this series?
Well, we played them very well in these 6 games. They've been 2 distinct series. The most recent one, we pitched pretty well, but we didn't hit. The first series here at Busch Stadium, we hit and didn't pitch as well. So I just think that, you take these games one at a time. We have Garrett Stevenson, a 15-game winner. Then you have, our Kyle, and then Ankiel going. So we have really good weapons, and I think we missed Hampton and Leiter. So we had the better pitching matchup of these 3.
No Maddox in the series against the Braves, and obviously it's big if you don't face Al Leiter and also Hampton, 2 top lefties in the National League. Let's take a look at our Pizza Hut NL Division standings. Bobby Valentine a little bit more relieved now that he may have a contract extension after this season. Tony La Russa feels right at home here with the St. Louis Cardinals. Both these teams have topped their division. In the Central, Cardinals on top of the Reds by 8 games. Reds, as we speak, tied with Montreal 1 apiece at Cincinnati. Mets only a half game up of the Braves, and the Giants and Diamondbacks, that's really the big division when you're talking about a chase down the stretch, is out west. But the Mets, and we've talked about this in our last few telecasts, are probably the team to beat, even more so than the Atlanta Braves now in 2000.
Yes, I think we saw them right around the trade deadline. They got Bordick, and they got White, and they got Trammell, guys that really have helped them, and they're an outstanding ball club to begin with.
Well, a pair of right-handers on the mound tonight. We'll take a break and come back with more as a big crowd is filing in here at Busch Stadium. Bobby Jones, Garrett Stevenson, just moments away, Mets and Cardinals. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Budweiser. Brewed to deliver the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. And by your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals and Fox Sports Net. And by Southwest Airlines, who brings freedom to the net. With affordable fares and frequent flights, log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of e-freedom. The Bud I airship providing our live look at downtown St. Louis and at Busch Stadium as we welcome you back for St. Louis Cardinals baseball here on Fox Sports Net. Dan McLaughlin, Al Hrabosky, great to have you along on this Friday night as we start up this 7-game homestand, and home is a place that the Cardinals will be an awful lot down the stretch. That's going to be nice.
Well, it really is nice. We played very well this year. I mean, we're over 500 at home and on the road, but a much better record at home. And after we get through these Mets, we really have a very favorable schedule in our favor.
No doubt about that. Let's take a look at our pitching matchup for tonight, brought to you by our local Chrysler and Jeep dealers. A pair of right-handers. Bobby Jones, last time out, shut down the Cardinals. He's been hot lately, and so is Garrett Stevenson. Another terrific month for him.
Well, he's had a great month, and both these pitchers have. Both of them undefeated. A great ERA for Garrett, 2.65, but 3.21 is not bad either. Neither one of them strike out a lot of guys, but you mentioned Bobby Jones. He has been a handful for the Cardinals ever since he got to the big leagues.
We're talking about 2 great hitters in this game as well that will face those right-handers. MVP candidate Mike Piazza. That was a bomb in that series in late July against the Cardinals on a Saturday afternoon. And Will Clark, who provided some heroics in Florida in a Redbirds' last victory.
Well, Piazza may be the leading candidate for the National League MVP. Just another great season. Home runs and RBIs, 30 and 100. That's routine for him. But look at Will Clark in 26 games with the Cardinals, almost a 400 average, 8 home runs, 19 RBIs. He has really been what the Cardinals needed in the absence of McGuire. And very shortly, we're going to be talking about McGuire because he is swinging the bat. He's been doing that for the last week. So he may not be able to play in the field, but he is ready to be activated in the near future.
That is huge news here from Busch Stadium. We're just about set. First pitch moments away. Mets and Cardinals from Busch coming up next. St. Louis Cardinals baseball here on Fox Sports Net. Just about set to go. Let's take a look at the Mets starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Agbayani will lead things off, followed by Harris, Alfonso, Mike Piazza, Robin Ventura, Jay Payton, Darrell Hamilton has spent much time on the DL. He's back in there for the New York Mets. then Mike Bordick, and then Jones will hit ninth. Garrett Stevenson on the mound for St. Louis.
Garrett Stevenson is the best pitcher in the staff of pitching inside, being very aggressive. Most pitchers, everything's off their fastball. But since Garrett doesn't have a real good fastball, he uses his changeup to set up his secondary pitches. And if you don't have a good fastball, you can't throw too many of them without getting in trouble.
First pitch at 7:10 here in St. Louis in Busch Stadium. Over 40,000 expected here tonight. And the 1-0 to Agbayani. Make it 2-0. Agbayani, not your prototypical leadoff man, but Al, you look at his numbers. Only 4 stolen bases, but on-base percentage, .402.
Yeah, I noticed that. Over 400 is just exceptional. And Garrett having a little trouble locating his pitches right now. That really is the mark of a leadoff man, is what is his on-base percentage.
Fernando Vina, for instance, had said in spring training he wanted to be around 390 if he could get it there. He thought that would be a great season. He's around there, and here's Agbayani over 400. Strike number 2. Full count on Benny Agbayani. Lenny Harris is on deck. Eduardo Alfonso to follow. The 3-2 pitch. Leadoff walk issued to Benny Agbayani. Let's go around the horn here on Fox Sports Net defensively. Behind Garrett Stevenson here tonight. Will Clark again in there at first base for the injured Mark McGwire. Fernando Vina, late insertion into that lineup. He's feeling better. Craig Paquette again gets the start at third base. Edgar Renteria short for St. Louis. To the outfield we go. Ray Langford is in left. Jim Edmonds in center. And in right it's J.D. Drew. Behind the plate, Mike Matheny, who has thrown out 47% of would-be base stealers. Here's Lenny Harris. We saw John Bowles and the Marlins go after Mike Matheny. They stole 3 consecutive stolen bases against Matheny. Then he's caught 3 in a row and shut him down the rest of the series. That was in game 2.
If you remember, they stole those bases off of Pat Henkin.
Right.
And a high leg kick, tremendous jump, and if a pitcher will allow Matheny a chance, he will do the job. There you see that 15-7 record. Less hits than innings pitched, and 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Only 2 other pitchers in the National League have won 16 games. Tom Glavine and Randy Johnson. And Stevenson is looking to do that here tonight. That off to a good start. 2-0 on Harris. Comes in hitting over 300.
Lenny Harris, just a couple guys are getting rested in the Mets lineup, but Harris is a professional hitter, one of the best pinch hitters in the game.
.20 pitch. Is a strike on the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike.
Lenny got off to a slow start with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then he was traded to the Mets on June the 2nd.
Last time we saw the Mets, he was at third base and was really struggling defensively. He's at first tonight. Zeal with the night off. 2-1 pitch. Harris loses the bat. 2-2. Fooled on that changeup from Garrett Stevenson.
Well, not only does Garrett have that good curveball, but it really is his changeup is the exceptional pitch. This is what he uses to set up his other pitches. He has a great arm action. Looks just like his fastball. And then with that fastball, he usually spots it so well inside to keep hitters honest and keep them off the change.
Garrett coming off a victory against the Braves last weekend. The Cardinals took 3 of 4. A 6-3 win on Saturday. Two-two pitch. Full count. And a fastball up and in on Harris. You talked about Al, sometimes Stevenson throwing too many fastballs. What do you mean by that?
Well, he can get in trouble with that. Remember, it's not a high octane fastball, and the way he uses it frequently is to pitch inside with it off the plate, so it's not a called strike. He doesn't want to throw his fastball in the strike zone. There's his changeup.
Throw down his second. Got him. What a tag by Renteria. Double play with the strikeout and the throw out.
And that's what we're talking about, too, that if a pitcher allows Matheny the opportunity to throw, Matheny also receives a changeup. So that's going to allow that base runner to get down there even more. But there you go. He sits there, and the ball is up and away, gets a good shot to throw in the release. And Mike, very, very accurate, but a great tag. You pointed that out. A very quick tag by Renteria, and that helped out.
Fly ball into right. Off the bat of Alfonso, J.D. Drew is there. So after a leadoff walk, Garrett Stevenson settles down. We're through a half inning, no score. Bottom of the first we go as Tony La Russa watches game one of this three-game set, the first of a seven-game homestand. Southwest Airlines brings us their starting lineup for St. Louis. Vina, Drew, Edmonds, Clark, Paquette, Langford, Renteria, Matheny. Garrett Stevenson will hit ninth for St. Louis. On the mound, a guy that shut down the Cardinals the last time he saw him, right-hander Bobby Jones.
He's had a great month of August, but we're in September. He doesn't have enough stuff to make mistakes because he has to hit the corners. He can't pitch over the middle of the plate. If he gets that fastball up and out over the middle of the plate, that's when he really gets in trouble. But he has a great ability to change speeds.
Bobby Jones, 8-5 on the year. Around the horn we go here on Fox Sports Net. Defensively for the Mets, Lenny Harris gets the start at first. Zeal the night off. Alfonso, a Gold Glover at second. Robin Ventura, Gold Glover at third base. At short, Mike Bordick, the pickup from the Orioles in late July. Agbayani in left. Jay Payton in center field. And Darrell Hamilton off the DL. And in right field and behind the plate, MVP candidate Mike Piazza. A good sign for the Cardinals as we begin this homestand is at the top of their order, a healthy Fernando Vina. Vina leading this game off after a couple of games off, and then a day off yesterday and a late insertion into the lineup. He was unsure of whether or not he'd be able to play with those sore ribs, but he's in there. Bobby Jones out making start number 22.
He has that 8-5 record, ERA over 5. Got off to a terrible start. Actually was sent down to the minor leagues, but since his return's been pretty good.
Has the second longest tenure of any player at Mets club. So Jones has been around for a while. He's seen the ups and downs. Here's Vina hitting over 300. Pop foul, and it's 1-2 on Fernando.
You can see what he did in the first half. Kind of demotion to the minor leagues. Came back, and he's been very good. And I'm sure the one thing that they'll tell you is his command of spotting the ball on both sides of the plate is much better. Bobby Valentine, 13th Major League season. Still 945 wins.
But Valentine, there was uncertainty as to whether or not he, along with Steve Phillips and everybody in the front office, Al, as to whether or not he would come back for next season. But the ownership, big breaking ball fouled away by Vina. The Mets came out yesterday and said that Valentine will be back next season. He has not signed a contract extension, but a vote of confidence from the ownership, and they said that yes, he will be back along with Steve Phillips and everybody in their minor league system and front office. 1-2 pitch to Vina. Slap foul. And out of play.
There was a time where it seemed like one, the general manager or Bobby Valentine, would not return. But then it appeared that the general manager, Steve Phillips, was going to return, and Bobby was still in question.
Right. He's here. Vina stays alive.
You really talk about can't be out on your front foot. You can't be too aggressive against this pitcher. And he'll lull you into false sense of security. He's one of those comfortable callers. You always find yourself making a U-turn and going back to the dugout. You say, how did he get me out? Well, the key was he got you out.
1-2 pitch into center field. Coming on is Jay Payton, and he'll put it away. One away. But good to see Vina back in the lineup. Well, you always talk about changing speeds, Al, and a guy like Bobby Jones can top out probably at 84, 85, 86, but when you change speeds like Bobby Jones, you can have success.
Yeah, and when you don't have that heater or something that you can throw by someone, you learn how to pitch, how to paint a picture on the canvas, and you're painting the corners.
Here's J.D. Drew. Looks at a ball. J.D. hitting .299, 16 homers, 52 RBIs. And this matchup, Drew and Jones, is a good matchup, and let's see if J.D. has been adjusting. Right on the button. Alfonso can't make the play. Goes into center, wide turn by J.D. at first, and he has a base hit, a one-out base hit for St. Louis.
Well, there used to be a time when that ball would be gobbled up. I'll tell you why, because right now it plays it off to the side, it gets by him, goes into the outfield. Guys used to square up to it, and if they didn't catch it, then it would hit them in the chest, fall to the ground, and they pick it up and throw you out.
And Alfonso is as sure-handed as anybody. Normally you never see him out play something like that to the side.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely a gold glove caliber player, and whether it's third base or second base.
See if J.D. wants to run. He has picked it up on the base pass. He's been more aggressive at the plate, laying down the bunts. Finally healthy, a big lead at first. He has 12 stolen bases, and here's Edmonds. Edmonds snapped an 0 for 21 streak Wednesday in Florida. Jim went around. A new month, as you mentioned, Al, and Edmonds, for him, it didn't come quick enough. He hit 188 in the month of August.
He's happy it's over with.
And since McGuire has left the lineup, Jim is only hitting .226. And we mentioned Mark McGuire in our open. Good news with him as J.D. is back safely at first. He has been quietly here at Busch Stadium taking batting practice. He did so again today, and the knee is responding favorably, but not well enough to play every day and be at first base. But as the month progresses, you could see him pinch hit, or if you get far enough in the playoffs, or rather if you get to the World Series, you're talking about a DH. There's a lot of different things that could happen with McGuire.
Yeah, he talked to him a long time, and he said may not be able to play in the field, but very open to pinch hitting, doing the different things, and felt it was once again reported erroneously his comments last month about pitch hitting.
Runner is going, throw down to second is high, and J.D. Drew is in scoring position. 1-2 on Jim Edmonds, and for J.D. Drew, stolen base number 13.
I'll make a prediction that J.D. is going to end up leading this club in stolen bases.
Only 4 now behind Edgar Renteria. Good jump for J.D.
Good jump. And then Piazza with not a very good throw at all. I mean, almost like he didn't get a handle on it.
Chance early on for the Cardinals. 1-2 on Edmonds. Looks at it, called third strike. 2 away. That'll bring in Will Clark, who has been filling in for the injured Mark McGuire. And thank goodness this man has arrived on the scene again on Wednesday. Second inning, he got the scoring going for St. Louis. He went deep, a solo shot that tied the game at 1. And then Will would win it in the 9th for the Redbirds. Edmonds picked up a base hit against Alfonseca, and Clark the drive into right center to drive him around. Edmonds was off with the pitch. That would make it a 3-2 game. Clark would then come around to score to make it 4-2. And Will Clark steps in with a man at second and 2 away.
Will's hit in 7 of his last 8 games. .552 average.
Look what he did against the Marlins. 6-4-11. 3 RBIs.
I mean, what a great road trip.
Big ovation as Will stepped in. Looks at a strike. 1-1.
Edmonds didn't like his called third strike and looked like Will wasn't sure about that one.
One ball and one strike on Will Clark. J.D. Drew is at second. No score early on here at Busch. Well, we mentioned Mark McGwire taking batting practice all week long, and he did so again today. He's got the Rambo look going. Said his timing is still a little off, but it's coming back. That's good news. Will Clark, a drive down the right field line. Hooking and foul. Two and two. The sweet swing of Will Clark.
And, you know, you're going to get a lot of balls like this. Jones will throw a lot of balls. They're timing a little bit off. They're out in front, and they'll hit a lot of home runs, but they'll be foul because they just have a hard time waiting back on it.
That was barely foul. So now Clark steps in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. J.D. Drew is at second. Frank Paquette is on deck. Now Jones is set. Here comes a 2-2. Well, again, Mark McGwire before today's game and really all week long taking BP. He hit one in Big Mac land, as a matter of fact, before the game. Hit about 3 or 4 into the upper deck. One specifically into Big Mac land. And when he comes back in this lineup, the big question is, what happens to the man at the plate? Will Clark. Well, Jocketty said more than likely he'll wind up in the outfield.
Well, I think we're a little premature right there, because medical reports are that, and Mark told me he may not be able to play in the field the rest of the year.
Bud 1 airship. A beautiful shot here in downtown St. Louis. Nighttime is upon us. The Bud 1 airship.
There's the red planet.
It was hot today and hot right now.
I was going to say, when did it cool down?
2-2 on Will Clark. They set up outside. He goes the other way, down the left field line, but curling foul. Will Clark at 2-2 just fought off a good pitch by Bobby Jones. Went the other way with it. He's fouled away a couple of good pitches from Bobby Jones.
Well, one thing in this first inning, Bobby Jones is having to work a little bit.
Drew is at second. The 2-2 pitch, and he got him. He got Edmonds looking, and now Will Clark swinging. Cardinals leave a man on. No score after 1. This day in Cardinal history brought to you by Schnucks. September 1st, 1958. Vinegar Ben Mizell set a National League record by walking 9 batters in a shutout. The Cardinals beat the Reds 1-0. Vinegar Ben Mizell.
That's tough to do.
Did you know Vinegar Ben Mizell?
Nope.
Any idea how he got the name Vinegar Ben Mizell? No.
He liked white vinegar.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know.
No idea. Here's Mike Piazza.
I know this guy can hit.
It's been something else. Piazza, Ventura, and then Jay Payton. The season ended today, Al. I think you'd have to say that Piazza would be your MVP.
I think you wouldn't embarrass yourself if you picked him.
Not at all. Pops this one up right side. Will Clark is there and puts it away for out number 1 here in the second. Well, attention Cardinal fans, on Saturday, September 2nd, that's tomorrow when the Cardinals take on the Mets. It's Pasta House Company Coca-Cola Pennant Day here at Busch Stadium. All fans ages 15 and under with a paid admission receive a specially designed pennant featuring Garrett Stevenson and a coupon compliments of the Pasta House and Coca-Cola. That's tomorrow when the Cardinals play the Mets. Time is granted to Robin Ventura, who has been struggling at the plate.
No, it was not.
Now it was not granted, and the pitch was taken for a ball.
See,
there was no indication.
Well, Jeff, that's because it wasn't granted. Jeff Kellogg, it was a ball, but he did the right thing. You know, Stevenson had reached that point of no return in his windup and made him throw it.
Ground ball to second. Vina to Will Clark, 2 away. Looked like there was no indication, Al, to take it a step further as whether or not it was a strike or a ball indicated, but he said it, I'm sure, loud enough for the players to hear it.
Okay, watch right now. See, Garrett's in his windup, and the batter calls timeout, but the umpire did not grant it. It's up to the discretion of the umpire. We always see him try to call timeout for the hitter, and the pitcher is right in the middle of his windup, and at a time when you could get hurt by trying to stop your motion.
2 outs, nobody on, and here's Jay Payton. What a surprise this guy has been for the Mets, and I say surprise probably with an asterisk next to it because this is a guy that the Mets were counting on for a number of years, but he has really arrived on the scene here in 2000. It was a prized possession in their minor league system and has finally come on here in 2000.
Had a lot of problems with his elbow, surgically repaired a couple times, and you know, it just seemed like every year you heard about him, but he would be injured. And he's batting .500 in his last 12 at-bats, 6 for 12. That's over 4 games. He's 8th in the National League with a .377 average versus left-handed pitching.
Jay Payton, 3rd-round pick back in 1994.
He was out of Georgia Tech, right?
Yep. Played with Garcia Parra and also Jason Varitek, now with the Red Sox.
And he was recognized as the best of those 3.
Did not go around. 2-2.
As Diaz, first base umpire.
Talk about pitching inside in our pregame show, and there it is. High and tight on Jay Payton.
Well, see, to me, that's what really has made Garrett a winner. The guys that pitch inside consistently are winners. But when you pitch inside, if you miss inside off the plate, not out over the plate.
I believe we saw some video of Pungo throwing over somebody's head in our pregame show.
Actually, what you didn't see was that was the second pitch. The first one was a little higher, and I didn't think you got the message.
So then you sent it to him.
Yes.
On the second pitch.
And he looked over at Don Baylor, who was the on-deck hitter, and said, "You coming too?" And Don said, "Uh-huh."
I saw you duck, but then we didn't have enough video to take us through that fight. Who got the best of it?
Well, let's put it this way. I end up on top of Bostock. Baylor was on top of me, and 50 people were on top of all of us. but my teammates said it was the most awesome sound as they pulled off players. It was like a kettle drum. Baylor hitting me in the back.
Is that right? More on that story when we come back through an inning and a half. Garrett Stevenson has struck out 2. Paquette, Langford, and Renteria coming up. Bud One Airship providing our aerial views here tonight. Game number 1 of this 3-game set from Busch Stadium. Mets and Cardinals. Bottom of the second we go. Paquette, Langford, and Renteria. We have got fans.
We got the most intelligent fans.
They call in, write in on foxsports.com, and they can also watch the games on satellite. And now we have another answer to our trivia question, right?
Right. How did Vinegar Ben get his nickname?
Paquette into center. Jay Payton is there, and there is 1 away.
He lived in Vinegar Bend. Bend or Ben?
Ben. Kentucky,
Arkansas.
Right?
Arkansas. There was
Kentucky.
a caller from Kentucky that called it in to give us that information. So thank you very much, sir. Now, can you get us some runs?
Here's Langford with one away. And nobody on. What else happened after that fight? Anything else? Besides that you were ejected.
Actually, what happened is no, I was not ejected.
You weren't?
Bostock was, came back. It was only ball 2, but Whitey came out to take me out of the game. He said, Hungo, you can't keep on getting mad at people. Bostock's yelling at me, selling wolf tickets, and I'm standing on the mound, and Whitey says, I'm going to take you out of the game, so I charged him. So we had another fight.
The man that you were trying to send a message to is one of the game's biggest tragedies. Hit right side and a base hit for Ray Langford, a one-out hit. And he will stand at first with one away. Well, coming up after the game here from Busch Stadium on Fox Sports Net, the National Sports Report, NFC Central Preview. Ron Darling on the pennant races in Major League Baseball and a college football weekend preview, all coming up on the National Sports Report immediately after this game. Here's Renteria.
That was in the middle of the week, and then that weekend was when Bostock was tragically shot and killed in Gary, Indiana, as he was visiting some friends of Tony Oliva's. And Scals would always have a barbecue for the different players. And Bostock, remember, just signed a very lucrative free agent contract from Minnesota with the Angels. And so he went to go visit these gals, and one at a stop sign, a strange husband came up and pulled a shotgun out and shot him in the back of the head and killed him.
Come on, they get a double, baby.
I did get a telegram after that sent to the Yankee Stadium in the playoffs, said, "Wishing you were here," signed Lyman Bostock, about a month after his death. A nice fan.
Langford is at first, one away. We're in the second. Here's Renteria. Matheny to follow.
Mike Bordick, he will come over here, see it's closed mouth or open mouth, telling the second baseman what pitch is on so they can position themselves a little better. See, now it's the first pitch was closed. Say, for instance, it was a breaking ball. Now it's open. It's a fastball, or vice versa.
See if the Cardinals want to do some running here. 2 balls and no strikes. Renteria at the plate. Fouled away. 2-1. Bobby Jones is very slow to the plate. And he does not throw hard, so you would figure Cardinals may be aggressive on the base pass here tonight.
And I think he also not afraid to try and steal against Piazza, too. Now, they say he's throwing much better, and he's guiding his pitching staff very well.
2 balls and a strike. Let's see what happens here. Langford is running. Throw down to second. Not in time. Now Langford is called out. He beat the throw, beat the tag, and then came off the bag. 2 away. So Piazza with some help at second.
They scored a caught stealing. Ray just seemed like he was running, and he wasn't there. Bounce is there. I watched Bordick stay with him and tag him. Ray's trying to claim, hey, he tripped me or pushed me off, but Eric Cooper said you're out.
Another look sees Langford off the bag, and
it wasn't a very good slide.
No, he was coming in pretty hard.
He really didn't get his, maybe he's a little late, didn't get his legs out fully extended, and then he kind of momentum carried him across the bag.
That'll bring in Mike Matheny. Hitting .248. You know Bobby Jones wants to get Matheny and have Stevenson lead off the third. Big breaking ball, Renteria. Easy stolen base. That one against Jones. 3 stolen bases now on the night, if you include the stolen base by Langford, which you should.
But you know, and I think the official score didn't see it that way, but that's the way I was always taught it. So it should have been a steal, and then he came off. Tell you what, breaking ball, and then not a very good throw, but Piazza, I was even surprised he even attempted to throw.
He had no shot.
Maybe I challenged Renteria there, because now that's the 18th stolen base, and it's been a long time since he had stolen one.
Matheny has an 8-game hit streak on the line here tonight. He has hit safely in 12 of his last 14 starts. Average up to .248.
And he's been getting key base hits and scoring opportunities and coming through.
Line drive. Hit into center. Payton going back. Can't make the play. Over his head. A one-hopper off the wall, and the Cardinals grab the early lead. A 2-out base hit right on QL. Mike Matheny with the RBI. 1-0 St. Louis.
Mike, earlier in the year, was just really struggling with runners in scoring position. He's finally over 200 with this base hit. And, boy, you know, he drove a couple balls in Atlanta that either one-hopped the wall or got over the head of Andrew Jones and picked up a couple RBIs, and he does it here again today. He's a strong kid, and the ball out over the plate and takes it right back up central.
9-game hitting streak now for Mike Matheny, and 38 RBIs on the year. It's 1-0 St. Louis.
It's a new career high hitting streak.
Stevenson, weak ground ball, right side, and Lenny Harris is there. That's out number 3, but Mike Matheny has put the Redbirds on top early on. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Another fantastic view from the Bud 1 airship as we roll on here on Fox Sports Net. Cardinals have the early lead. It's 1-0. What's on Tap is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, brewed to deliver the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Upcoming broadcast tomorrow against the Mets, KTVI, Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with the call at noon. Sunday at 1 with Al and Bob. Then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we've got the action. Expos come to town. WB 11 on Monday, then Tuesday and Wednesday, 6:30 on Fox Sports Net. Mike Matheny has thrown out a base stealer here tonight and also picked up a key double. And it's 1-0 St. Louis on Matheny's 38th RBI of the season. Garrett Stevenson back to work. Mike Matheny makes the element of base stealing for the Mets very, very tough. On the other side, against Piazza and Bobby Jones, the Cardinals have been running wild early on, and against Bobby Valentine and the Mets, because Jones is so slow to the plate, does not throw hard, and Piazza, when you think about defensive catchers, not one of your better defensive catchers that you talk about. There's Darrell Hamilton, then Bordick and Jones. Hamilton has spent most of the season on the DL. 1-1. Came back in August 9th. And his first at-bat coming off the disabled list. Hit a pinch hit home run, a 2-run shot at Houston. Slaps that foul. It's 1-2.
Injured that foot on April the 7th. So there's where you talk about April the 7th to August the 9th. Had surgery on his left great toe. That was in May, but he originally hurt it in April.
Line drive into right. And on a 1-2 pitch, the first base hit of the night for Darrell Hamilton and the Mets. Coming up tonight, the 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to home teams throughout the Midwest. Rams camp, NFL experience on tour. Our reporter Jake Query will take you on that tour. And around the Big 12. Of course, Mizzou opens up tomorrow afternoon. 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report only here on Fox Sports Net. Another view from the Bud 1 airship. Here's Mike Bordick. Hamilton is at first. Garrett Stevenson has struck out a couple, and we're in the third. Hamilton, the first base hit of the night for the Mets.
Mets been very pleased with Mike Bordick's offensive production.
But his defense is going to let him down.
A little disappointed there. He's committed 6 errors.
Mentioned earlier that Bobby Valentine will be back along with Steve Phillips. At least that's the indication out of New York. Bobby Valentine has done a good job with this team last year. Now he feels this team is better this year. Last year's team pretty darn close to going to the World Series. 0-1 pitch. 1-1.
Well, you know, we're trying to figure out a way to beat the Mets, and I think somewhat they're unsure of themselves against the Braves when they get into those big games.
You got guys like Lavin and Maddox who have been there, and Chipper Jones, and now Galarraga. Guys that have been there, and that postseason experience goes a long, long way. Popped up. Matheny giving chase, and that's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Showing you different shots. Downtown St. Louis from the Bud 1 airship throughout tonight. Ball and 2 strikes on Mike Bordick. Hitting .310 on the year. Hamilton is at first and nobody out. Bordick endeared himself to the fans at Shea after his acquisition, his first at bat. In front of the home crowd, he went deep. Sent a breaking ball low, 2-2.
That was off Andy Bennis. And Andy was like a little kid in a candy store today because he was activated. So there's Andy activated and told me he could be. I said, "Where are you heading to?" And he said, "The bullpen." They're sitting in the dugout.
Stevenson set. Here comes a 2-2. Falling out of play. Bobby Jones is on deck, the pitcher. Mets have 12 games remaining at home and 17 games left on the road. 6 of those games against the Atlanta Braves. 3 at home and 3 on the road. And since the All-Star break, they have the best winning percentage in the majors. So this team has been hot in the second half. Scouting report on Garrett Stevenson. We talked about it in our open, is that he will work quickly, but this lineup of the Mets has been taking their time. See a pitch, step out. Take their time against Stevenson, make him work. Runner is going, 3-2 pitch is fouled back. He's trying to break that rhythm of Garrett Stevenson. Cincinnati on top in the 7th, at home against the Expos, 7-2.
Danny, that's a lot of what they're trying to do. You know, they step out, try and do different things. When a pitcher likes to work quickly, you know, you'll try to disrupt his timing, make him wait for you. But it's also this stuff with every pitch, a guy's got to step out and reset himself and work with his hands, and it's very hard for a pitcher to work quick.
Hamilton is running, swing and a miss, throw down to second. Vina made that play close. Hamilton with the stolen base. 1 away.
Vina almost did a somersault there again. Another good pitch. He locks up and in. He locks up Bordick. Then a high throw. And look at him try to reach back, and he catches the ball high in the air, and then he tries to reach back and make the tag as Hamilton going by.
Last stolen base for Hamilton was back in '99, last September.
Well, when you hurt your foot in April, you're not going to be running too much, especially when you've only been back to the active roster for 3 weeks.
Big breaking ball and a strike. Bobby Jones was 0 for 33. Not one of your better hitting pitchers. Stevenson has 3 strikeouts now on the night. First base hit of the year for Bobby Jones into center. Edmonds was playing very shallow. So it'll be first and third, only one away.
Jimmy plays shallow to begin with, but then with a very light hitting pitcher, he brought it to the extreme. There's a big breaking ball, but you see how it hangs right up there, sitting right up there, and he didn't try to do too much with it, just put it in play and hit it back up the middle.
So Garrett Stevenson will have to pitch out of a jam here in the third. 2 hits in this inning for the Mets. Brings in Benny Agbayani. First pitch, fouled back. Agbayani here tonight has walked and then caught stealing.
This is Eric Cooper, and we want to watch a good hustling young umpire. This is on the steal attempt. Look at him get into position, stay right with it. He's trying to get his nose right down there to get a real good look, and also got a correct call. Sometimes we want to really make sure we recognize the hard work that they do when they do hustle.
There's a strike 0-2 on the leadoff man, Agbayani. Chance here to get the Mets on the board. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Lenny Harris is on deck. The 0-2 pitch. High and tight again inside from Stevenson. 1-2. Stevenson comes in. A mark of 15-7 ERA, just over 4 at 4.12. First and third, ball and 2 strikes on Agbayani. Just missed inside, 2-2.
See, that's what's good about Garrett. When he misses inside off the plate, not where you can be hurt.
Since joining the Cardinals, Stevenson has won 21 of 31 decisions. And very, very good. 2-2 pitch. Got him. 4 strikeouts on the night for Stevenson. That's a big one with first and third and only 1 out. Gets Agbayani. He's 0 for 1.
But once again, that ability to pitch inside. He throws a lot of his fastballs inside, but he does it where he doesn't get hurt. Now, he can't throw his fastball out over the middle of the plate, but he can paint inside better than any of our starters.
That'll bring in Lenny Harris. Harris struck out first time up. Part of a double play, as Agbayani was then thrown out by Matheny at second. 2 away. First and third. Alfonso to follow. If Harris can reach. Swinging bunt, left side, tough play. Paquette throws. Safe at first. And the game is tied, and Tony La Russa does not like the call. Comes storming out of the Redbird dugout.
Yeah, I thought it was to the naked eye that there's no question that he was out. A great play by Paquette, and that's why Tony is so upset. It's like, you know, come on, we got guys, 2 first place clubs trying to play hard here, and why he hits this ball? I mean, it's a close play there. Well, look at right here. Now watch here where his foot is still in the air and the ball's in the glove. Still up in the air. He's out. I'm sure Laz Diaz saw it his way and is probably convinced that he got it right. But
RBI for Harris. It's now 1-1 game. That'll bring in Alfonso.
And make a great pitch, a swinging bunt, and ends up tying the game.
Well, we saw that the other night in Florida on an apparent double play to end an inning. Instead, man was called safe at first, and Andy Fox came all the way around from second to score. Line drive down the left field line, hooking and foul. 1-1.
Danny, that's why you really got to be, as a pitcher, you have to assume responsibility to control the situation. You can't have a mental letdown or sit there and start feeling sorry for yourself. I should be out of the inning. I should have a shutout intact. You got to keep on pitching. You got to make sure and use that as motivation to keep them from scoring another run.
Well, not only does it extend the inning, but it extends it against Alfonso and then Piazza and Ventura if they can reach. Part of the order. Line drive, left center. Edmonds is there and puts it away. Well, the Mets leave a couple, but they score one against Garrett Stevenson. A controversial call at first goes the other way, and it's 1-1.
There was 22 umpires that lost their jobs last year. None of them will get a job. At one time, Major League Baseball had offered 10 of them to come back. Something like 6 were going to retire, and 6 more would just be fired. But they took a hard stance. They wanted all of them to have their jobs back, and so all of them lose their jobs. And feel bad for guys like Frank Pulley and some of the good guys that were let go. There were some outstanding umpires that were let go. There's some that good riddance.
Here's Vina, top of the order. Vina, Drew, and Edmonds here in the third. A 1-1 game here at Busch Stadium. 3 hits aside. Vina into shallow right. This will be a tough play. Alfonso bobbles and makes a play. Seen that a couple of times out of him this season. Alfonso makes the play for out number 1, and Vina is 0 for 2.
Hamilton really was playing extremely deep. It's a better angle for the second baseman than the first baseman. So you see Harris gets out of the way. There's the bobble and doesn't panic. Stays right with him and just said, oh, it's just teasing, guys.
That'll bring in J.D. Drew with 1 away and nobody on. J.D. singled, stole the base. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Picked up the first base hit of the night. Big breaking ball taken 4 ball by J.D. Jim Edmonds is on deck. J.D. a rope into right. Darrell Hamilton is there. 2 away. Well, guests on Cardinal Baseball receive a gift certificate to Chevy's Fresh Mix. Stop by one of the 7 locations where the food's made fresh every day, and that is Cardinal beat writer Rick Hummel, our guest tonight. Had a feature on Rick. Been in the press box now here at Busch Stadium for 22 years, really over 22 years, but the primary beat writer for the Redbirds since 1978. Does a great job with this team and with baseball in North America, one of the most respected writers. Here's Jim Edmonds. What an odd swing that was. You hope he's not hurt.
Hurt his ankle or something? Knee? He's got a bad knee, yeah.
Home run leaders heading into tonight. Sosa now with 45. Hit a couple the other night. Well, you hope Jim is all right.
Jim, take a look at it. It's really an out of control swing. Went out there, and then maybe when he went to plant that knee, it collapsed on him. Jim on the road trip hit his 35th home run while playing center field. That's a new club record for that position. And Renteria broke Solly Hemus's record for home runs at shortstop. Tony La Russa doesn't want to see, even though Jim's not as dangerous as he was earlier, doesn't want to see him go down to injury or lose much playing time.
0-2. Well, he's still limping a bit. Last swing looked better than the first, but he's still favoring that knee just a bit.
And it gets to plays a mind game with you, because you get in their batter's box and you're afraid to swing because you don't know if it'll support you.
No balls and 2 strikes, and there's another strikeout. Edmonds looking. Second time he has struck out here tonight. Bobby Jones has 3 on the night. Twice against Edmonds. Piazza, Ventura, Pate coming up for the Mets. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box. 2 million antenna balls can't be wrong. And by your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers. Magic number 22. Our super fans for tonight on Fox Sports Net. Already talking about a magic number. Might as well. We're in September, right? First pitch swinging and a base hit from Mike Piazza. 4th hit on the night for the Mets. Piazza's 1 for 2.
Got another person going to tell us the information on Vinegar Vin.
Is that right?
Yeah, we already gave the information, but thank you to Murney Bryan of Heron, Illinois. Vinegar Bend, Arkansas. That's how Vinegar Bend got his nickname. Small town. Kind of gives you, I think it's pretty obvious that it's a small town.
Yeah. Piazza at first. Robin Ventura steps in. Takes a strike from Stevenson. Ventura rounded to second his first time up. Average only at 233. Kind of surprising. Ventura can hit for average. Does have 20 home runs and 69 RBIs. Piazza is at first. Breaking ball lifted into left center. Slicing to Ray Langford. And he'll put it away for out number 1. Piazza back to first. Take a look at our Aflac trivia question for tonight. Who was the last pitcher to steal home? Answer in the bottom half. Bud 1 Airship providing our aerial views here tonight. We're in the 4th. It's a 1-1 game. Hot night here in St. Louis. Game time temperatures in the mid-90s. Cooled a bit, but not by much. It's still hot. Here's Jay Payton with 1 away, and Piazza at first. Fouled away. Payton, his first time up, struck out. And tonight Stevenson has 4. Hitting .292, 12 homers, over 40 RBIs, 44. Reds lead Montreal 7-2. 0-1 pitch. Just missed outside, 1-1. Any idea on the last pitcher to steal home?
I got the answer. Just one of those things that so unusual that it sticks out in your mind when you ran across it one time.
Was it a straight steal? Was it an odd play?
I don't know that. I just said I know who it is. But
2-1. What have you thought of Garrett Stevenson here tonight?
Well, Garrett's not as sharp as he normally is, but he's out there battling. 4 strikeouts have helped him out. He's scattered 4 singles in this ball game. Should have a 1-0 lead. A missed call at first, and we have a tie game.
2-1 pitch. Foul back and out of play. 2-2. Stevenson just trying to become the 3rd National Leaguer with 16 victories. And now you said it in the pregame show, probably the biggest surprise of the 2000 campaign is on the mound, Garrett Stevenson.
Yeah, I like Garrett and felt that he would be fine in the rotation, but I don't think anybody would predict him to do as well as he has.
Lifted into right. Drew coming. Out of play.
You know, Garrett had 14 major league wins coming into the season. He was 6-3 last year when he came up, but to be 15-7, I don't think anybody was predicting that.
Biggest thing with Stevenson too is his health. Could he stay healthy? He's done so. Battled ankle problems while with Philadelphia and early on with the Redbirds.
He had that ankle problem, then he kind of strained his shoulder, and so it took him a while to get healthy.
2-2 pitch. Tonight begins 7-game homestand. First of 3 against the Mets, and then 4 with the Expos, and back on the road. Andy Bevins and Bud Smith are the organization's player and pitcher of the month. Bevins hit over 400, 7 home runs, and quite a story is Bud Smith, left-handed pitcher. Well hit center field. Edmonds going back, looking up, and that's out of here. 2-run shot for Jay Payton. That's home run number 13. RBIs 45 and 46. And it makes it a 3-1 Mets lead here in the 4th.
Jay Payton's really having a significant push for getting his name in there into the Rookie of the Year balloting. But he had a great at bat. He fouled off a lot of tough pitches and then hung in there. Let's see, watch Matheny's glove. See it go to the middle of the plate. So it's one of the few times he did have to earn it, hitting it into center field.
Well, how does it look from a blimp?
Right, pretty good camera work there. You can follow it. Saw it go to the plate and saw it go through the infield.
Bud won airship.
It's 23rd home run allowed by Garrett this year.
1-1 on Darrell Hamilton.
Where we give these guys a compliment, and they want to do the game action now.
1-2 on Hamilton. 395 feet, that home run off the bat of Jay Payton. The Bud won airship. Stays 1-2. Hamilton singled and scored back in the 3rd.
You ever been in a blimp?
I have not.
Had an aunt that got married in a blimp.
Not surprisingly, to come from that Grabowski clan, to
very clandestine, kind of a very clandestine uncle. His brother was the political puppet head of Hungary one time.
High pop up on the infield. Paquette has it. 2 away. That'll bring in shortstop Mike Bordick. Stevenson wants to get the number 8 man in the order here and have Bobby Jones lead things off in the 5th. But Jay Payton has done some damage in this inning. A 2-run shot. Make it 3-1 Mets. 5 hits now for the Mets in this game. Bordick struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. 1-0 by Stevenson. 2-0. Roster moves today. Thomas Howard is with the club. Jason Wolf, Eduardo Perez, and Eli Marrero.
Jason Wolf was put on the disabled list, though.
Right.
I think there was some way they did that to clear a roster spot.
Right. Good to see Thomas Howard back.
Eli didn't fare too well, and down in the minor leagues he was 1 for 15. But we know he's going to be able to catch and throw and do some good things for us.
Full count now on Mike Bordick. And he walked him. 2-out walk issued by Garrett Stevenson. Second walk he's given up in this game.
Well, ideally, we would like to have retired Bordick and then have Bobby Jones lead off in the 5th inning, but we're down by 2 after the 2-run home run by Peyton, and Bobby Jones got his first base hit of the year in the 3rd. He's now 1 for 34.
Fouled away, and it's 0-1. First Garrett Stevenson along with Bobby Jones. They figure these two are automatic outs, but not the case tonight. Jones with his first base hit and a big one.
Garrett is 2 for 49 or 2 for 50 now with his base hit or his first out. And Garrett does have 3 RBIs.
Leads the club in sacks. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bobby Jones. A 3-1 game. Mets on top. Clark gives chase, but out of play. 1-2. Tomorrow will be Darryl Kyle and Mike Hampton. Hampton 13-7. Kyle 15-9. And Sunday, Rick Ankiel against Glendon Rush.
Glendon Rush has been a nice find for the Mets.
Has he ever? One-two pitch. 2-2. Stevenson looking for strikeout number 5 on the night. Two-two pitch. Foul back. One of the reasons, Al, that we talk about the Mets possibly being the favorite to come out of the National League is once you get to that bullpen, they are deadly. Armando Benitez is coming off a tremendous month. 35 points in the run for the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year award in one single month. 11 saves. He got Franco in there. Wendell. They are tough. Stevenson now with 5 strikeouts. 3-1 Mets. Aflac trivia question for tonight. Who was the last pitcher to steal home? Kurt Simmons back in 1963 with the St. Louis Cardinals. How did it happen? Any ideas?
He was on third base and he took off running.
Yeah.
And slid, and he was safe.
How do you know he slid?
I know he slid.
You don't know he slid. You said
I know
you didn't see it.
Well, how did it happen then?
I'm asking you.
He was on third base and he came home.
Okay.
Touched the plate. One way or the other.
Bud One Airship leads us to our Fan Fest legend of the game. Tonight's legend is Jack Clark. Winners in our Fan Fest sweepstakes win Cardinals gift certificates, autographed baseballs, and tickets to the TV broadcast booth for the season finale. Jack Clark is our legend of the game. Go to foxsports.com and then you click on Jack Clark and you can win. Check it before 10 a.m. tomorrow. Jack Clark to Will Clark. Clark, Paquette, and Langford. Foul ball. Clark barely missed a home run his first time up, then struck out swinging. Pulled a hanging breaking ball from Bobby Jones down the right field line, but it hooked just foul, and he struck out. He's 0 for 1. Since coming over from Baltimore, hitting .389. 0-1 pitch to Clark. Let's take a look at the hot zone of Will Clark. Up and in, out and away, and low and away. Been troubled spots, but nowhere else. 1-2 on Will Clark. What did you gather and what did you learn from the hot zone, Al?
Absolutely nothing. Well, you know, there's not too many guys that can hit the ball up and in. See? Especially when it hits them.
Clark is hit. He's at first. First man aboard in this inning here in the fourth. Nobody out. That'll bring in Paquette.
Starts to stride into it, and then he kind of let it sit there and got a little closer to the elbow than you'd like. Dave McKay, you know, saying, okay, squeeze my hand, get some little life back into it. You know, Danny, I made spiritual contact with two really neat young kids, Kelsey and Taylor Martin, and they wanted us to wish their mom and dad, Brad and Susan Martin, a happy 13th wedding anniversary. So two neat little kids, and very nice of them to think of their mom and dad on this special day. So nice going, Kelsey and Taylor.
While we have this chance, too, there are good seats available for tomorrow and Sunday. And then for that series against the Montreal Expos, which begins on Monday. 4-game set with Montreal. But over 10,000 for tomorrow and Sunday still remain. Here's Paquette. 3-1 New York. Shows bunt, lays down a beauty. Tough play for Ventura. Can't be made, throws behind, and Will Clark is out. Where was he going? Thrown out at second. Heads up play by Robin Ventura. And there's one away.
A little bit embarrassing, but boy, what a heads up play by Ventura, as you mentioned. Paquette just lays down a perfect bunt. And watch this, drops it down. They do give Paquette a bunt, a base hit. There Ventura looked there. Then he had the presence of mind and said, well, I can't get him at first, but maybe I can get Will Clark around him. And once Will tried to go back, his feet went out from underneath him. So it's 5-4 on the putout.
One away, and here's Langford.
It's a base hit and 5-4 putout.
Renteria on deck, one away. First pitch to Ray. Langford, his first time up, had a base hit. 1 for 1. Average at 254. His season high was 259 right after the All-Star break. Now with 6 20 home run seasons. Fouls that back. 1-1. And at home this season, Langford has been very good, hitting .296, 13 homers, and 37 RBIs.
All-time home run leader here at Busch Stadium with 108.
See if Paquette wants to run. Cardinals have been very aggressive against Mike Piazza and Bobby Jones. The battery tonight, 3 stolen bases, should be 3. Langford was caught stealing after he stole the base and then came off it. They have been aggressive. Runner not going. Big breaking ball tapped out in front. Piazza bounces from behind the plate. Throw to first, and they got him. 2 away. Paquette moves up on the play. He's at second.
Bobby Jones gives up some swinging hits, swinging bunts all over the place, and Piazza has to go out there and get it, make a nice play. This is the bunt by Paquette. They scored a base hit, and then as you watch one more time, Will Clark goes around the bag too far, and then he gets tagged out.
Paquette at second, 2 outs, and that'll bring in Renteria. walked his first time up and his only time. Mike Matheny has the lone St. Louis RBI. He's on deck. He brought in Renteria after he stole a base. Now with 18 stolen bases on the year. 4 hits on the night for St. Louis. Cardinals have left a couple in this game. 1-0 pitch. Is a strike, 1-1. Cincinnati on top of Montreal, now 8-2. That game is in the 8th.
We're watching that one, and of course the Mets are watching the Atlanta-Houston, where Houston leads Atlanta 3-2.
Well hit, but right at short. 40. Over to Lenny Harris, and the Cardinals strand a man. Through 4, we'll head to the 5th. It's 3-1 New York. Mets on top of St. Louis as we move to the 5th. It's 3-1 here at Busch Stadium. Let's take a look at our Casino Queen leaderboard. National League leaders in wins. Tom Glavine, 18. Randy Johnson with 17. Stevenson and Kyle both tied with 15, along with Scott Ellerton, who has won a bunch of starts in a row for the Houston Astros. Been one of their bright spots this season, but how we talked about it in the pregame show, when you've got Stevenson going and Kyle going, then you got Ankiel going, who leads the club in ERA. Got a pretty good shot in this series, but you got to do it. They have lost 6 straight in 2000 to the New York Mets.
And you got to have some help from your hitters.
Here's Agbayani. He is walked and was caught stealing back in the 1st. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. Garrett with 5 strikeouts on the night.
And it's always interesting now that we've played Atlanta so recent, and now to see the Mets. I think the Mets are a better ball club.
Yep. But then again, if you ask me who would you rather face, I'd probably say the Mets. Just because the Braves have that experience. And let's face it, we didn't see Maddox. That makes a difference.
You'll take your chances. You know, you get there and then you throw out all the stats and you start all fresh. But you're right, that playoff experience is huge for them. But you know, Maddox doesn't have that good of a record in postseason.
No. 3 walks handed out by Garrett Stevenson. 4 straight there to Agbayani. Brings in Lenny Harris. Harris is struck out and has an RBI base hit. Paquette in on the grass at 3rd. Outfield straight away for Harris. Mets have won 26 of their last 36 games. Best winning percentage in the majors since the All-Star break. First pitch. Popped into shallow center. Renteria is there, and there's one away in the top half of the 5th. Well, tomorrow on Fox Sports Net, college football Saturday. We've got all the action with our first triple header of the season. First, Mississippi State and Memphis. Battle followed by number 8 Kansas State hosting Louisiana Tech. Followed up by a Pac-10 showdown as Stanford and Washington State meet Pullman. All gets underway at 10:30 with the pregame show. Sponsored by Rivals.com on Fox Sports Net. Triple header of football beginning tomorrow. Harris is 1 for 3 with the RBI, and that brings in Alfonso. He takes a strike. Alfonso is flying to right and flying to center. He's 0 for 2.
Now, we kept on talking about that play where Clark was tagged out. They kept on saying 5-4. No, it was Bordick that took the throw.
5-6. 0-2 quickly on Alfonso. Mets came into tonight's game just a half game up over the Braves in the NL East. Cardinals 8 games up over Cincinnati. Reds picked up a half game last night. They beat the Braves, who just went through one of their worst homestands in recent memory. 0-2 pitch. 1-2. Five hits for the Mets on the night. 4 for St. Louis. Alfonso has been battling back problems all season long. 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Alfonso, one of the best players in the league. And a lot of his hits are big hits.
Last 13 games, he's got 4 home runs and 13 RBIs. Made his first appearance in the All-Star game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Agbayani is at first. Slow pace to this game with Stevenson and Bobby Jones. Stevenson is set. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Got him. Strikeout number 6 on the night for Garrett Stevenson. 2 away.
They're really mixing his pitches up and doing a lot of good stuff. There's that changeup again.
Let's revisit the profile, the pitching profile of Garrett Stevenson.
On being aggressive, pitching inside, he has done it. The change is really a very, very effective pitch. Everything changes off of that. Most people, it's off the fastball, but his is not that good of a fastball unless he spots it inside. So he has to have the same arm action on his changeup, and he really spots the fastball in or wastes it away, but he doesn't like to throw a lot of strikes with it.
Here's Piazza, 1 for 2. Violent swing up there, 1-1. 7-time All-Star, 7 Silver Slugger awards for Mike Piazza. Now 31 years of age. Stevenson and Piazza. And I would think Mike Piazza is going to win the MVP here in 2000.
He'll be definitely be in the running.
That's just foul. 1-2. You can make a case, Al, that this is the greatest hitting catcher of all time. We're watching him right here.
Definitely say that. And a lot of people have said to prolong his career that you should move him to another position. And I think Mike realizes that, he could become the best offensive catcher in the history of the game. And so he's saying, well, I've got a few more years back behind the plate.
Said he was listening to talk radio back in New York, and somebody said that Mike Piazza is the best right-handed hitter he ever seen. And Piazza came back and said, well, what about a guy named Joe DiMaggio? He said, wait a minute here. He said, he got some of the best right-handed hitters that are so much better than I. Career batting, .330, 273 home runs, almost 900 RBIs, just over 1,000 games in his career. Be careful here. 1-2 the count. Fouled away.
Good pitch. Ties him up inside, but he got a little piece of it. You see .396 in road games. That's first in the major leagues. .330 career batting average, third amongst active players. Ranked 7th in the National League with 33 home runs and 10th in the National League with 101 RBIs. And you can almost go back, and I believe it's 6 years in a row he's been over 30 home runs and 100 RBIs.
That's right. 1-2 pitch from Stevenson. Fouled away.
See Garrett going back inside, but he's so effective at pitching in there. The only thing Mike could do was open it up and pull it foul. Talking about right-handed batters, and A few years ago, DiMaggio was very proud of the fact that somebody had said he was the best living hitter, the best living player. And you look at his numbers and look at Stan Musial's numbers, and he doesn't compare to Stan.
2-2 on Piazza. Piazza homers in every 13 at-bats. Not quite McGuire-esque, but pretty impressive.
What is it? RBI every 4 at-bats,
right? Just missed, and now Piazza has worked the count full, 3-2. That pitch was a changeup. He came inside with a fastball to Piazza, so 3-2. Let's see what he does here.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you'll sit there and you pound them in, and you think that the hitter is going to pull off the plate a little bit, look for something in, so the changeup away is very effective.
Breaking ball. Lifted into center. Edmonds going back at the track and puts it away. Piazza just got under it. We're through 4.5 here at Busch Stadium. Mets on top. They lead at 3-1. Hey kids, this Sunday after the Cardinals and Mets square off, it's Gateway Arch Run the Bases Day. Following the game, all kids 15 and under will have the opportunity to run the bases just like the big leaguers. That's Gateway Arch Run the Bases Day, Sunday, September 3rd. That's this Sunday. And good seats still available for not only Sunday's game, but tomorrow as well. Over 10,000 tickets remain for both those games between the Mets and the Redbirds. I want to say congratulations to Jeannie Lodowicz. She's in our truck and recently engaged, so congratulations to Jeannie Lodowicz. Mets on top 3-1 over the Cardinals as we move to the bottom half of the 5th here at Busch Stadium.
Well, you better congratulate that gentleman.
If I could think of his last name, I would.
He got a prize, didn't he?
Oh, you betcha, Al. You betcha.
Is that your new home run slogan?
Yeah. Cullen Andrews is the gentleman's name. Jeannie and Cullen. I haven't been invited, have you?
No. But that's okay. We'll just be the enforcers.
Bodyguards or what?
No, I mean, if he doesn't take good care of our girl, then,
Oh, now she's your girl.
I said our girl.
Here's Matheny and a base hit into left. Mike's been productive. He's 2 for 2 with a base hit and a double. Well, Mike Piazza had said after 100 games he wears down, and this time of the season, as we are in September now, catchers wear down, but Mike Matheny's beginning to heat up.
Oh, he's really hitting well, and of course that was one thing that I talked with Dave Duncan. He said what a wonderful job that Matheny preparing to play every day. And here is off-speed pitch. He lines it over the head of Ventura. So he's 2 for 2, and Garrett, you mentioned earlier, leads the club in sacrifices.
Good bunt by Stevenson. He goes right side. Jones makes the play, and at third, Ventura had come way in, so the right play by Stevenson to go up the first base line. Smart move, and moving up on the play, it's Mike Matheny.
Little things like that can help a pitcher, 1, stay in a game, and 2, most important, win games for you. Give your offense a chance to pick up an easy run. There he is, kind of jabbed at it a little bit, but perfectly placed right down the first base line and deadened it enough to where it wasn't too hard. 13th sack for Stevenson, leads the ball club.
That'll bring in Vina. Matheny at second. Breaking ball and a ball. J.D. Drew is on deck. Vina tonight is 0 for 2. Fly to center. Popped out to second. Couple flyouts. Want to see him put on the ground here.
Yeah, a little bit, missing a few games. You get your timing a little bit off. But I'm sure here he'll do whatever he can to pull the ball and hit it on the ground.
1 ball and 1 strike. Vina back in the lineup after sitting out the series in Florida. Sore ribs after the series in Atlanta. You may remember he was flying up the first base line and went tumbling after touching the bag and injured his ribs, but he's back in there tonight. The 1-1 pitch. Line drive. Base hit into right for Vina. Matheny being waved home. Here comes the throw to the plate. Matheny is safe. And it's a 3-2 game. RBI for Fernando Vina. RBI number 28. A 1-run Mets lead.
Well, I'm sure Jose Oquendo has done a phenomenal job all season long at third base coach. Been very aggressive, but I'm sure he was wondering if he had made a mistake by sending Matheny from second. Here's Hamilton. See him lay back on the ball a little bit and really did not field that ball very well. Then not a good throw at all, but still there was plenty of time to get Matheny out. So a bad hop to first. Then you see Harris can't do it, and it all was very slow developing, but Jose got away with it that time, and thankfully so. Now it's a 3-2 Cardinal game. They're down by 1.
Fernando is leaning at first. See if he wants to run. One away. Here's J.D. Drew is 1 for 2. He has a stolen base and a single. Darrell Hamilton took a while to circle the baseball, and when he did that, Matheny got waved home. A drive in the right field. This may put the Cardinals on top, and it has. J.D. Drew, a 2-run shot. (4-3) St. Louis. And that was a bomb. Home run number 17 for J.D. Drew.
Well, watch the extension. Boy, he just got the ball up out over the middle of the plate. That was part of where Sky reported, don't leave it there. He put a charge in this ball, and the fan up there in the upper deck, it goes off his there. Well, watch the blimp shot. There you see, look at this. The blimp, they're saying, look out, it's going to hit us. Boy, this cameraman, he's got it down now. He follows it all the way. Right through the portal and out of Busch Stadium.
J.D. Drew has given the Cardinals a 1-run lead. Now 4-3 St. Louis is Eric Davis. Anytime that there's a curtain call, no matter who it is, he will step out and take a bow. That's why I'm laughing. Great work by our crew here in St. Louis. Those guys do a great job. Al, I have a chance to work with them during the hockey season, and they are some of the most likable guys that you can run into, and they do a great job.
Tell you what, nobody covers home run balls better than they.
They've had some practice.
They've had some practice. And you talk about good guys that, you know, that are real professionals and really help us out all the time. That's our crew. Boy, JD had really beautiful extension on that swing.
About to say we hadn't seen him go deep in a while, too.
Well, you know, this is the 17th home run, and all 17 of them against right-handed pitching.
Edmonds on 3-1, pops it up a mile high. Harris calls for it and has it 2 away. Edmonds was hustling the whole way. He would have been at second. Well, coming up tonight, it's the 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report. You will see that home run by J.D. Drew. Also, a report from Rams camp. Of course, they open up on Monday Night Football. NFL Experience on Tour. Jay Query takes you around the NFL and also out of Rams camp and around the Big 12. The zoo opens up tomorrow night at Faurot Field. So J.D. Drew, a 2-run shot, now with 17 home runs. And here's Will Clark. This inning started with the base hit by Matheny, the sack by the pitcher Stevenson. Matheny moved up on the play, the second. Vina drove him in, then he came around on the 2-run home run by J.D. Drew, 416 feet away. That's the third time tonight, Al, that J.D. has hit the ball hard. He had a base hit and then hit it to right. And his second at bat hit it right on the button. Darrell Hamilton, and now the home run into right. 1-2 on Will Clark.
Cincinnati has defeated Montreal by a score of 8-2. The Cardinals must win this game to remain 8 games up.
1-2 pitch. Pulled foul. Will Clark almost had a home run here tonight in his first at bat. Hanging breaking ball. Pulled it just foul. There you see a wrap now on the arm of Will Clark. He was hit by a pitch near his elbow. Now he's got it wrapped. Breaking ball out on his front foot. Jones fooled him. And the inning is done. But J.D. Drew has put the Cardinals on top. The Cardinals plate 3 in the inning. And 2 on this swing. Number 17 for J.D. Drew. A 2-run shot. 4-3 St. Louis. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Steak and Shake. And by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. And by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. You can depend on Dobbs. Bud 1 airship high atop the skies here in St. Louis over Busch Stadium. Garrett Stevenson back to work. Now he pitches with a lead out. It's 4-3 St. Louis.
Well, it's very important for him to just stop the Mets and get back on offense. Different points of the game, you use different motivational factors, and one, your teammates just giving you a lead. Now it's time for you to pitch your best baseball and stop the opposition.
2 balls and a strike. This is Robin Ventura.
See, he's a little more aggressive right now, working a little quicker.
I think Stevenson has probably wanted to work a little quicker tonight, but most of the Mets have taken their time getting back in the box. And I'm sure that was on their scouting report. Stevenson likes to work very quickly. High fly ball into right. J.D. Drew going back near the wall, and that ball is gone. Into the Cardinal bullpen on a 2-2 pitch. Robin Ventura with home run number 21. And this game is tied at 4 apiece.
I think we're going to find that it's not a location where Stevenson wanted to make it. You make mistakes, and these guys will make you pay. 21st home run, 70th RBI. Right in the middle of the plate. Fastball in the middle of the plate is not a good pitch for Garrett.
That'll bring in Jay Payton. Mike James begins to loosen up in the Redbird bullpen. 6 hits now for the Mets. Jay Payton homered his last time up. Robin Ventura's home run measured at 391 feet. Jay Payton, a 2-run shot. That was back in the 4th. All knotted up at 4-4. That was Payton's home run. His 13th on the year, a 2-run shot.
He fouled off a lot of good pitches, and then he got one over the middle of the plate and hit it to center field.
Stevenson laboring now and over 100 pitches.
Yeah, you could tell this game he really has not had his good stuff. But if you don't have your good stuff and you still keep your team in the game, that's good enough.
A lot of days off between his last start. Remember, his last start was on Saturday, so he had basically the entire week off. And a walk issued by Stevenson. 4 walks on the night for the Mets, and now Dave Duncan will make the trip out to the mound.
He hasn't been that sharp, and when you see him sprinting out there, they're not ready to go to the bullpen just yet unless Garrett talks him into it. You ask a couple questions, you expect to get a very positive reaction, and maybe right now, even though we've said that he hasn't been able to work as fast as he'd like to, you know, he needs to be slowed down a little bit. A little bit of confidence. Give him 6 innings and a chance for a victory is a lot better than leaving trailing.
Hot night here at Busch. And Stevenson has been laboring. Here's Hamilton, who has singled and scored. He's also popped out. Pitch out and undoing. Payton at first with 4 stolen bases.
4 stolen bases and caught 11 times.
Yeah. One-0 pitch coming to Hamilton. 1-1. Stevenson tonight, Darryl Kyle tomorrow, and then Rick Ankiel on Sunday. Out time is called. Cardinals will miss Al Leiter, miss Greg Maddux last weekend.
The Cardinals have trouble against left-handed starters, and they're going to have 2 of them on Saturday and Sunday.
Mike Hampton was pitching through pain. Had a rib problem. Well, cracked a rib or broke a rib. Old football injury, but I think he maybe missed 1 start and then came back. Won his last start. Paquette, even with the bag, actually on the grass at third, and check on Payton. Eight to 2, Cincinnati has won over Montreal. So they are now scoreboard watching. 4-4 game here in the 6th. Two-one pitch from Stevenson. In left side, a base hit. Inning started with the solo home run by Ventura, the walk by Payton, now the base hit the other way for Darryl Hamilton. He's 2 for 3.
I have to be thinking about it. It's a pretty good piece of hitting by Hamilton. Ball down the way, and he goes out there, gets it, and hits it hard in the hole.
They were wondering about Stevenson and how he would fare in this inning pitching with the lead, and here's our answer. 3 men have reached, 1 a home run. And it's a 4-4 game. Second visit by Dave Duncan, and Garrett Stevenson is through for the night.
Mike James will be coming in, and Dave Duncan, pitching coach, wants to go over a little scout report, do a little things with the pitcher, and so that's why he makes the pitching change.
So Garrett Stevenson is done for tonight. It's first and second, nobody out. We're in the 6th in a 4-4 game. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Lowe's. Call Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. Mike James to enter this game for St. Louis and take over for Garrett Stevenson. This is his 41st appearance.
And Mike's really starting to put together a really solid season. He earned his first National League win with a scoreless 8th inning on Monday night. He last pitched on Wednesday in Florida. Remember, back in late May and mid part of June, he was on the disabled list with a right shoulder strain. And since his return, he struck out 22 in 25 innings and owns a 2.16 ERA.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Very hot night here in St. Louis. Temperatures when we started were in the mid-90s. Cooled a bit. A view from the Bud 1 airship high atop here at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, it's cooled about 92.
92, maybe 93.
But probably a little more humidity.
It's hot. Any way you look at it.
It's sticky, hot, muggy, and we need to get back on offense. 52%. That person's inside in air conditioning.
We've got everything. We've got the hot zone. We've got...
Yeah, the hot zone's whole city.
But now we've got the Fox Sports Net weather forecast. Two men on, nobody out. Doug Stanton and the gang in the truck doing a great job here tonight. Bunt is laid down. Paquette convenient first. Runners move up to second and third. Now with one out. Hamilton is at second and Payton at third.
Watch here, the bunt laid down. Paquette fields it. Your second baseman is covering because the first baseman Clark is running. So he takes the throw and then he accentuates stepping on the bag. Sometimes it's not easy. You think you know where that bag is, but you're running over there, catching the throw. Matt Franco is going to pinch hit here for Bobby Jones. Franco was one of their September call-ups, and he was with them most of the year, and he's one of the best pinch hitters in the game.
19 walks as a pinch hitter a year ago for Matt Franco, now 30 years of age. He has spent parts of 4 seasons with the Mets after being acquired from the Cubs back in '96. James would love the strikeout. Corners are in. Outfield straight away. Second and third, one out. Line drive lifted into left. Langford going back. Makes the play. Good play by Ray Langford. Payton will score, and the Mets have regained the lead by a run. It's 5-4. Langford actually came in on that play and then had to back up and made a dandy play in left. Heck of a play there by Ray Langford.
Yeah, that's what he did. Is he came in on his approach, and then he realized the ball was starting to take off and got back and hauled it in. But the pinch runner did not bait at that. He stayed at the bag and then basically walked home.
Ray Langford, a good play in left. 2 away. That'll bring in Agbayani, the leadoff man. Looks at his strike. Langford with that play saved a couple of runs. Instead of 2 scoring, just 1. Agbayani is 0 for 1. He's walked twice. In the first and again in the 5th. We're in the 6th, and it's 5-4 Mets. 7 hits aside. Mets scored 1 in the 3rd. That tied the game, then 2 in the 4th. And 2 here in the 6th. Lead at 5-4. Two balls and a strike.
And left that slider over the middle of the plate. Very dangerous location.
James, at the first part of this season, was really prone to giving up the long ball, but not anymore. That has not been the case. Hamilton is at second, 2 away, and the 2-1 pitch. 3-1, and now Agbayani can dig in and go hack it.
Well, I think Mike, remember, he's still really trying to come back from his Tommy John surgery. He basically missed 2 years. Had a shoulder problem also.
The 3-1 pitch from James. Fouled away.
And he's going to go out and talk to him real quickly.
Redbirds in the 6th inning will have Paquette, Langford, and Renteria due up in their order.
Talked about earlier that Agbayani His on-base percentage over 400. On base 2 for 3 tonight. 2 walks from Garrett Stevenson.
Watch out. Third time that Agbayani has been aboard tonight. Third walk.
He almost walked into one.
That'll bring in Lenny Harris. 90 miles an hour, that last pitch from Mike James. Harris tonight is struck out. RBI base hit with a single in the third and popped out to short in the fifth. 1 for 3 on the night. Keep an eye on Todd Helton, what he is doing tonight. And his chase for 400. Now here we are in September, and you can start really talking about it. He's going to make a serious run for it. Hitting now over 450 at home, and the majority of his games are now going to be played at Coors Field. Well hit into right center. Edmonds giving chase, makes the catch on the run. He got a great jump, saves a couple of runs. Great play by Jim Edmonds. The Mets played a couple. They lead it 5-4. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net. Bud 1 airship high atop Busch Stadium here in downtown St. Louis. Mets lead it by a run, 5-4. As we move to the bottom of the 6th. Well, on Thursday, September 7th, the Cardinals take on the Expos. It's Bank of America Mousepad Day. The first 25,000 fans, ages 16 and over with a paid admission, receive a specially designed Cardinal Mousepad, compliments of the Bank of America. That's Thursday, September 7th, when the Cardinals battle the Expos. New pitcher in now for the Mets. Rick White out of their bullpen, appearing for the 57th time this season.
He's really 2-1 with a save as the New York Mets and appearing for his 13th game with them. Came over at the trading deadline from Tampa Bay, and maybe of all their acquisitions, he may be the best one. Very, very durable. Eats up a lot of innings and can make numerous appearances. And this guy has been welcome sight for the Mets bullpen, which is one of their best. One of the best ones in the league.
Franco stays in the game. He'll take over for Harris at first. And White will hit in the second spot in the order for the Mets. Here's Paquette. He's 1 for 2 on the night. 5-4 Mets here in the 6th. 0-2. Al's favorite part of a game is the hot zone. And here it is for Craig Paquette. Al, take it away.
Oh, really? He's batting .240.
Langford is on deck. Then Renteria. Ball and 2 strikes on Paquette. He's 1 for 2 on the night. Two and 2.
Earlier in the count, it seemed like the crowd was displeased with a call or two. That one right there could have been strike 3.
7 hits aside. Mets have the lead. A couple of home runs. Ventura and Payton. That's a same pitch, and he calls it a strike this time. There's one away. That one may have been more outside.
All right, you got 2 strikes. You've got to be careful at the plate. Piazza set up there and a little bit too close. But as you mentioned, the pitch before was a ball. Why isn't that one? Now this was the pitch before they called ball 2. And I mean, I can't tell the difference.
Here's Ray Langford. With one away, nobody on. Ray tonight is 1 for 2. Singled in the second. Grounded out. Back in the fourth. Tomorrow here at the ballpark, Ray and his wife Yolanda will be hosting a group of about 100 kids on the bleachers. One pitch. Pop fouling out of play. 1-2. Renteria is on deck. A ball and 2 strikes on Ray Langford. That one may have caught Piazza.
This thing about Mike, he is so durable. He gets punished when he's back there. There it comes up, catches him on the wrist. He got hit with a backswing earlier this year. Took some stitches in the forehead.
He made 2 plays at Dodger Stadium last week where he went flying into the seats.
Well, he knew those fans.
Probably did.
Yeah. Season ticket holders, and he missed them.
His shoe said hello.
It's a good game going on right there. Keep your eye on the ball, kid.
2-2 pitch. Foul back.
Ray's batting .253, so where do you think he likes it? I do not buy that .438. Anything above his belt, he's had.
Full count on Langford. You don't trust the hot zone?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Yep. And I haven't talked to an analyst yet that likes it.
3-2 pitch. Got him. Paquette strikes out, and so does Ray Langford. There's 2 away. Well, coming up tonight on Fox Sports Net. After the game, it's the National Sports Report. Football preview. Ron Darley on pennant races and a college football weekend here on Fox Sports Net. National Sports Report immediately after the game. Only on Fox Sports Net. Home of the hot zone. Here's Edgar Renteria. Renteria tonight is 0 for 1. He has walked. That was back in the second. And scored a run. 39,056 in attendance tonight. Jammed him there. Good job out of the bullpen by Rick White. 1-2-3 inning. We're through 6. Alfonso, Piazza, Ventura. 5-4 Mets. Well, enter the AutoZone Sweet Deals Sweepstakes. Stop by any St. Louis area AutoZone store and enter to win 4 tickets to the best seat in the house. That's the broadcast suite right here at Busch. Your chance to have the Cardinals experience of a lifetime. Stop by an AutoZone store today and enter to win. That's the broadcast suite right behind us here at Busch Stadium. Timmy O'Connor and the gang right behind us. Yes, you're on TV. Hello. Wake up. Yeah, there you go. We're on TV.
Paul Jocketty and one of his lieutenants, Bob Gephardt, former general manager of Colorado. Walt was his assistant before taking the job here in St. Louis.
Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Lowe's. Call Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's improving home improvement. Here's big right-hander Mike Timlin, 34 years of age and now making his 14th appearance for St. Louis. When he came over, he led the Orioles with 11 saves, and he tossed 2 scoreless innings on Wednesday night in Florida with 3 strikeouts. He looked very good after taking a couple of bad outings, including his first loss for the Redbirds about a week ago.
Yeah, but he, as you mentioned, though, that last time he came out, he really was firing the ball, had much better command of his pitches. He had a couple careless pitches or bad locations when he could ill afford them in the Atlanta series. Cost him a game.
When he gets going, he can get it up there. Timlin was hitting 97 on the gun the other night. You don't buy into the guns, though, either, do you?
No. They're way too high.
But he was throwing hard.
He's throwing hard.
Bud 1 airship. Live look at Busch Stadium here on this Friday night. 7-game homestand for the Redbirds. And Tony La Russa, it's 5-4 Mets, so he moved to the 7th.
Any hitters will tell you how good your fastball is.
Well, they don't catch up.
That's right.
Well, you saw him off. That's what we were talking about that the other day, and how it seems like every guy that comes out of a bullpen is hitting 96, 97, but yet every hitter's catching up and pulling the ball.
Yeah, it's, you know, the guns now, and there's different guns, fast gun, slow gun. They used to get a reading at home plate. Now they get it as the pitcher releases it. That makes it higher.
Here's Alfonso. 96 miles an hour, according to the gun. Here at Busch Stadium. Alfonso is 0 for 3.
I think the best thing about the gun is Edward D. Jones Investments sponsor it.
That's the best thing about it.
That's the best thing about it. The jugs gun. And there's the other radar gun, and they get trees going 35 miles an hour. So
trees.
But I think the thing about it, and see, there's Edward D. Jones. That's the best thing. When I look at that, I think of Edward D. Jones. But I think if you had
investing with these,
you had a starting pitcher, and if he's throwing in the mid-90s, then he gets to the 7th inning, he's throwing 86. That tells me something about the gun. Other than that, I'll let the hitter tell me how good the pitcher's throwing.
Do you hear my question to you?
Yes. It's none of your business. Just Edward D. Jones is got signage at the ballpark, so I think that they're really wonderful people.
Full count on Alfonso. Alfonso, Piazza, Ventura. Hit left side. Renteria stays down. Over to Will Clark, and there's one away. That's the first time in quite some time that we've seen the Cardinals get the first man in the inning out. That'll bring in Piazza. Piazza has a base hit, and he's also scored a run. One of the 5 on the night for the Mets. Something that Dave Duncan is working with Timlin is a 4th ball or a splitter. And they will try to perfect that next spring training to give him a little bit more of an off-speed pitch. Last pitch was a slider. That was at 88 miles an hour, according to our Edward D. Jones gun. And this last one, a fastball around 95.
Yeah, but what I liked about it was the location inside. Really locked up Piazza, and he was even shaking his wrist after trying to make the swing.
0-2 pitch to Piazza. Foul ball.
Piazza is so strong. He has such great forearm strength. Now watch out there. He can reach out there and foil a couple pitches. Almost as if he was mad at himself for not doing more with that. Going to want to try and go inside again.
0-2 pitch.
Now there's not a hitter alive that likes to hit the ball off their fist. And so you got someone as big and strong as Mike. They want to get the arm extension. He can take a ball off the shoe tops and hit it out of the ballpark. Sinker inside. We'll see.
Piazza has fought off some tough pitches in this at bat, including that last pitch. That was a good pitch.
But the thing that yeah, it really was. The thing you've got to be careful about, you're constantly pitching inside, is you've got to get it in there. Because you leave it middle half, then this guy is going to hit another home run.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Same thing. Sinker inside.
And they get him. Renteria over to Clark. 2 away. 2 ground balls to Renteria. 2 outs.
Not only velocity, but great location. And that's, to me, location and movement are more important than velocity.
Here's Robin Ventura. Solo home run here tonight. But again, Al, only hitting .235, and that's not like Robin Ventura. Strike from Timlin. 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, last year Ventura hit .301 with 32 home runs and 120 RBIs.
0-1 pitch. 1-1. Let's take it to his last at bat in the 5th against Garrett Stevenson. This just got out over the wall and out of the ballpark and into the bullpen. Two and 1. Ventura, 6-time Gold Glover. Spent 10 years with the White Sox. Signed as a free agent back in 1998. Part of that great defensive infield a year ago with the Mets. They're not bad this year either, even with Olerud and Ordonez gone.
Well, you wonder how many of the errors that the infielders have is the difference of Olerud, an excellent first baseman, and Todd Zeile playing at first for the first time.
Zeile hasn't been bad though.
No, I mean,
but he's not Olerud either.
No.
Zeile not in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, just a day off for Todd. Derek Bell has a banged up knee, ran into the wall the other day. But you talk about Timlin trying to come up with a new pitch. That's easier said than done when you pitch out of the bullpen. Here's Todd. What has Todd done this year? 283, 34 doubles, 3 triples, 17 home runs, and 70 RBIs. Sort of a typical year. 280, 290 hitter. I'll give you 20 home runs and 80 to 100 RBIs.
2-2 pitch. And he got him. Timlin, good work out of the bullpen. Pair of ground outs and a strikeout. This one of Robin Ventura. In the top half of the 7th, it's 5-4 Mets.
The New York Mets lead the Cardinals by a run as we move to the bottom half, the Cardinals half of the 7th inning. Rick White, he came on last inning and pitched outstanding for Bobby Valentine. Tony La Russa really wants to send a message to these Mets. They have won all 6 meetings previous to tonight against the Cardinals. Bobby Valentine, Tony La Russa, pretty intense guys. Tony watching there alertly, trying to pick up something. We'll have Matheny, pinch hitter Polanco, and then the top of the order, Vina. Mets bullpen is very good. John Franco, who has more saves than any other left-hander in the history of the game, it's been on the shelf for a while. But Benitez, you get down in the 9th inning, it's lights out.
And Turk Wendell too.
Turk Wendell, very good.
Bud One Airship providing our aerial views of Busch Stadium here tonight. Our live views. Here's Mike Matheny. Mike has been red hot, and he continues that here tonight. Matheny with a base hit and an RBI double. He's 2 for 2.
Got a career high 9-game hitting streak now.
Joe Samuel, a great job getting us the Bud One Airship. Charity Hop almost took the head off of Bordick over to first and 1 away.
Mike Bordick, really having a career offensive season. Made 6 errors since coming over at the trading deadline, and a little surprised at that. But look at this hop. He was positioned to get the ball scooting on the ground and kind of came right up towards his face, but he made the play.
In steps Placido Polanco. 327, 3 home runs, 26 RBIs, but coming off a rough series while in Florida.
Well, you just have to believe that he tried to do a little bit too much going back home. He lives in the Miami area now. He was 0 for 13. That's unlike him.
Had the big afternoon on Sunday with a couple of doubles, including the game-winning RBIs against the Atlanta Braves. But here it is, Al. Look at your screen. That's the hot zone.
Well, he's never had a hit off his kneecap. Up and in, he doesn't like it.
Hit left side. What a play. Knocked down by Ventura. Spins and throws, not in time. And the tying run is on.
Well, that's what you do. You get an infield hit. And Ventura sure made that close.
6-time Gold Glover is Ventura. Couldn't make the play here, though, on Polanco.
There he fights that ball off. I want to see what he's hitting on that spot. Middle half in, but see, he goes to his left. He dives for it, smothers it, can't hold on to it, scrambles for it, picks it up, and threw a seed over there. But
just to make it close was a good play.
Yeah. And good thing Polanco was running hard. But when you're 0 for your last 13, you've got a little extra step in your. That's the first hit, first base runner in an inning and a third off of Rick White.
And Vina will step in. He's 1 for 3.
It was Cook.
Cardinals have had their problems on the base pass. First of all, there was Ray Langford. Had a stolen base, or so we thought. Came off the bag and he was out. Then in the 4th, Paquette lays down a beauty. Will Clark is at first. Watch him at the top of your screen. Round second. Robin Ventura heads up play. Throws to second and gets Clark.
Dave Wallace, the Mets pitching coach, coming out here, looking out there. He's got the left-hander Cook warming up. So they can make that move right now if they want to. Rick White's been pretty darn steady. And remember, they normally have 2 lefties in their bullpen, but John Franco is, I don't think he's available yet, and they did call up Rich Rodriguez, one of their September call-ups, so they have 3, and they are going to make a pitching change and bring in Cook.
Dennis Cook will enter this game, and you figure that's the right move with the left-handed hitting Fernando Vina, then J.D. Drew to follow, another left-handed bat. So, pitching change here at Busch. It's 5-4 Mets. Bottom of the 7th, and it's 5-4 Mets on top here at Busch Stadium in the start of this 3-game set. Well, tomorrow on Fox Sports Net, college football Saturday. We've got all the action with our first triple header of the season. First, Mississippi State and Memphis. Battle followed by number 8 Kansas State hosting Louisiana Tech. Followed up by a Pac-10 showdown as Stanford and Washington State meet in Pullman. The action gets started at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And the pregame show locally right here on Fox Sports Net, presented by Rivals.com at 10:30. College football Saturday beginning at 10:30. Tomorrow on Fox Sports Net. Dennis Cook enters this game, and for the 59th time this season, he will come in out of the bullpen.
Well, he's had a tough season. Look at that 5.86 ERA. That's exactly 2 runs more for 9 innings than he did last year when he had a solid season at 10-5 with a 3.86 ERA. He did pitch in that series in New York, and you would never have thought he was struggling this year. The 6 wins are just being in the right place at the right time.
He is tied for 7th in the National League with those 6 wins. Wins by a relief pitcher.
And this ball club, the Mets, they come from behind quite a bit.
Right.
And that's something the Cardinals have been doing of late. But when you do it against a club like the Mets and their bullpen, then you're starting to do the timely hitting.
Here's Fernando Vina. Lots of room to the left side. Ventura off the bag at third, but even and in. And the shortstop Bordick is shaded towards second base. Outfield pretty much straight away. So Cook with 1 out against Fernando Vina.
Now you see where the first baseman is playing, but you better not get too much of a lead there, because he's pretty good. Has a pretty good pickoff move.
Polanco is the runner at first. First pitch is taken for a ball. Vina tonight is 1 for 3. 2 flyouts. 1 into center. He popped to second base, and Alfonso, and then had a base hit in the 5th. 1 for 3 on the night.
The Mets have done some things with their first baseman, and Dennis Cook, as I mentioned, he has his. But watch how they get off the line, and then that first baseman will kind of try and drag the base runner a little further out, because he's trying to see around, will see the pitcher. So he kind of gets in his way, and you know, sometimes the base runner feels he has a tendency to go get a bigger lead. Crowd wanting to balk. Dave McKay looking on.
1-0 pitch to Vina. Strike.
Now you ready? Come on now.
1-1.
Yeah, Cook has a real high leg kick, but in order to have the pickoff move that he has, he lifts that front leg straight up and doesn't break the plane. If you break the plane, you've got to go to the plate. If you lift it straight up, then you still can go to first base and you freeze the runner.
Drops down, line drive, and this could be a double play. Polanco's safe at first. Now he'll try to get back to the bag, and he will.
Well, bad base running initially, and it just the throw hits him in the back, or they would have had the double play and get out of the inning.
Now 2 outs.
First thing you tell a base runner, don't get double up on a line drive, but it's easier said. See that stop right? You take that extra step, then he gets hit in the ribs. Then he thought about going to second and wisely reversed direction.
J.D. Drew will step in. J.D. is 2 for 3. He's hit the ball hard 3 different times, including his last time up, a 2-run home run.
With the batting order 4 straight left-handers, you know, you do put yourself in a jam. They've got some left-handers out there. You're going to run into, or they come back in the order and they can keep on throwing a lefty out there. You can be in trouble. But a pitcher still has to make the pitch.
No balls and a strike on J.D. Drew. Fooled on that pitch. Wasn't fooled, though, in the 5th inning. There's a monster shot off the bat of J.D. Drew. A 2-run home run at that time gave the Redbirds a lead at 4-3. Mets have scored 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 2 in the sixth, and lead at 5-4. 0-2 on J.D. Drew with Edmonds to follow if Drew can reach. Set up outside. Let's see if J.D. will chase. And he doesn't. 1-2.
Okay.
Al's reaction to the hot zone.
I don't buy that one at all.
We got guys that are hitting 240 that are red all over the place, and J.D. Drew's at 303, and he's ice cold everywhere.
Now, see, and we know we've seen J.D. turn on pitches inside. What I would like to see, and would make that more interesting for me and tell me more information, is I want to see one with fastballs and one with off-speed pitches, and then overlay those two and tell the story. Because J.D. obviously can turn on most fastballs.
2-2. J.D. has worked the count even. We're in the seventh, 5-4 Mets.
That is an accomplishment in itself. You know, they make the pitches, he's overmatched coming from a left-hander, especially the off-speed pitches or a sweeping curveball. But to work the count full, then maybe he can get into a fastball count.
Like that, full count now on J.D. Drew. If you walk him, you put the tying run at second.
All right, if he throws a breaking ball, he has it. Throws a fastball, and that's the easiest pitch to throw a strike with.
Dropped down and missed inside. It was 0-2, and now J.D. works the walk. With 2 out, it'll be first and second. And in steps Jim Edmonds.
He tried to throw a fastball, but he tried to do something he really does very few times. It's also one of those situations, too, where he knows that he's going to face the next batter. Sometimes when you're in that situation on a 3-2 pitch and 2 outs, you know, you sit there and go, I want to do something, but if I walk him, I'm out of the game, so I have to do something else. And with all the left-handers.
Will Clark on deck from the left side, so he will deal now with Edmonds. That's a good point, though. Edmonds has made a great catch here tonight. And a base hit into right. Polanco around third. Hamilton comes up gunning to third. Edmonds with the game-tying RBI stands at first. And it's 5-5 here in the seventh.
Jim Edmonds was only 1 for 5 against Cook in his career. And he went up there, and you know, Jimmy, these base hits are coming very, very sporadic, but they have been pretty key of late. There he pulls one through the hole. Polanco's on second base. He will race home to tie the score at 5-5. And now there you see J.D. waits to let the ball get through. It's in there, and then so Hamilton tried to throw him out at third. McKinnon telling him to slide. Throw was offline. Polanco scores, ties the game.
And look who's at the plate.
Yeah, Will Clark, and then this is the last batter, the last man that Cook will face.
Against Dennis Cook, 3 for 20. Will Clark is the Cesar Cedeno of 2000. Every time he's called upon in a key spot, he seems to deliver. Now, this crowded Busch has come alive.
Dennis Cook has been a very good and reliable pitcher, but I think he's not having the typical season when Will was like 3 for 20.
1-0 on Will Clark. 1-1. Clark tonight struck out swinging, was hit by a pitch in the 4th and popped out. You see on his right elbow, right forearm, some wrapping around that. That's where he was hit by the pitch, just above the elbow. Clark and Cook. 5-5 game here in the 7th.
Elbow sleeve, just trying to keep the swelling down.
1st and 3rd, 2 away. 1-2.
Is that good hard breaking ball away.
Christensen beginning to throw for St. Louis. Timlin is on deck, so Clark can reach. Timlin will sit, and we'll see a pinch hitter.
There's Jason. He's coming off an outstanding effort where he pitched 1 inning and struck out all 3 men in Florida.
1-2 on Will Clark. Foul back. Stays in there. I don't know of anybody else who'd won up there other than this guy, Will Clark. Maybe Mark McGwire. The way that Clark has been hitting.
Tony told me one of the ways he envisioned using Mark McGwire in a pinch hitting role would be like in the 8th and 9th inning, lead off an inning of a tie game. If they want to walk him, fine, we'll use a pinch runner. Want to make a mistake? Maybe we've got the lead.
Ball and 2 strikes on Will Clark. Check on Edmonds at first. Edmonds is at first, and J.D. Drew is at 3rd. Couple of base hits in this inning. One by Polanco, pinch hitting. The other by Edmonds in the RBI, and Tony La Russa, and the Cardinals are tied now, 5-5. Tough pitch, and he laid off. 2-2.
It's that breaking ball, and Will's got a pretty good eye, and he really does understand hitting and understands what pitchers try to do to him. There's a lot of guess hitters in the game, and at times Will guess, but with an educated guess.
5-5 game and a 2-2 pitch. Full count. 1-run games, NL team highs. The Mets are 26-15 in 1-run games. The Cardinals 19-13, both in the top 5. And
interesting when you see the Marlins and Brewers there, though.
Championship teams when you include the Braves in that top 5 with the Cardinals and the Mets. This crowd has come alive here in the 7th.
Danny, here's one of those situations. 3-2, runner's going to be going, so you got a base open. You got to go with a breaking ball more than likely, but if you throw the breaking ball and miss, you're out of the game.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. Bases will be loaded. Timlin will take a seat.
It was the breaking ball, and Will, in that situation, one of the few times where you look for breaking ball, but you want to be quick enough that you can try to just fend off or just get a little piece of a fastball. And see, right now, Valentine's going to wait, see who the pinch hitter is. It's Sean Dunston. I don't know if he's been announced yet. But then you have Langford on deck.
Yeah.
And he's got a pair of right-handers. Turk Wendell, he's sitting down. And they're just getting a drink.
Dunston against left-handed pitching. Hitting .228 with 6 home runs.
Eric Davis hits over .400 against left-handed pitching, but I'm sure. But see, sometimes you've got to say maybe Valentine's going. Well, now Dave Wallace is going to come out here, and they're making sure yes he's been announced. So will he make a pitching change now? If you put Davis out there, he's going to face a right-hander. So he didn't want to put him out there. Now Turk Wendell is going to get back on the mound, throw a couple pitches, and then he'll race in. He's already been called into the game. Worry-free vacations. That's where we're going to go this offseason, right? You and me.
Is that right?
After we go to Las Vegas, we'll probably go to the French Riviera.
I forgot about our Vegas trip. after your hole-in-one. Thanks for reminding me. Turk Wendell, the right-hander, will come in from the bullpen. The bases are loaded. We're tied 5-5 here at Busch Stadium. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, who brings freedom to the net with affordable fares and frequent flights. Log on for low fares. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of e-freedom. And by Auto Tire. We'll win you with great prices. We'll keep you with great service. Bases loaded here at Busch Stadium. 5-5 game, and Thomas Howard was just called up. Will pinch hit in this game. Langford is on deck. Howard, the switch hitter, will bat from the left side.
Turk Wendell appearing for his 68th game. He pitched in 80 games a year ago. And a lot of strikeouts. Left-handed batters are batting .218 against him. Right-handed batters .182. He has a right-hander up there. It's almost all sliders. We'll see what he throws to the switch hitting Thomas Howard.
Here's Tank. His pitch swinging. Good to see Thomas Howard back with the big club.
Thomas Howard hit a grand slam in a pinch hitting role earlier this year.
Did that at Houston, right?
Houston, and I think he has. Leads the club with 43 pinch hits, 8 hits, 9 RBIs, 86 pinch hits in his career.
Hit right side. This could be trouble. Wendell, though, is there, and the Cardinals are done here in the 7th. 9 hits on the night for St. Louis. Turk Wendell, a good job out of the bullpen. It's 5-5 after 7. 5-9-0 for St. Louis, 5-7-0 as we move to the 8th here at Busch Stadium. Bud 1 airship high atop Busch Stadium. Over 39,000 here in attendance for game 1 of this 3-game set, the first game of a 7-game homestand, and we're tied 5-5. 5-9-0 for St. Louis, 5-7-0 for the New York Mets. And there's the Bud 1 airship.
Beautiful sight. And a beautiful thought.
It is a little hot up here, isn't it? The lone lefty out of the bullpen is Jason Christensen. He's been called upon as we move to the 8th inning. Part of our call to the bullpen. Call those for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's improving home improvement. Christensen now is starting to really settle in out of that bullpen and turning into a nice addition to the pen.
55th game, 11th as a Redbird, and look at the more strikeouts than innings pitched. Walks a little bit high for coming out of there, but not bad. Pitched that perfect 7th inning in Florida where he struck out all 3 batters, and if you think about the last 3 or 4 times out, he's been much better. So Dave Duncan has talked with him an awful lot. Marty Mason down there in the bullpen, and kind of got his frame of mind in the right spot.
Here's Payton. First pitch. Hit left side. There's Polanco. 1 away. Payton is retired, and he is 1 for 3 on the night with a home run and a walk. That'll bring in Darryl Hamilton. 2 for 3 on the night. Pair of base hits and a run scored. Now pinch hitter for Hamilton. Hamilton was announced, but
Bubba
Trammell is going to step in.
He's got some pop. We saw that in the first plate appearance for the Mets. He hit a home run against us.
Looks at a ball. Trammell hitting .233. 2 home runs and 7 RBIs.
Gene Lamont, the Pirate manager, told me that he never considered Christensen to be a left-handed specialist. And what he meant by that is he can get right-handed batters out. He's not just one that can just retire lefties. He felt that he was a guy that could go more than 1 inning and didn't mind him facing right-handers at all.
2-1 on Trammell. Mike Bordick is on deck. Couple of finals already in the National League. Houston over Atlanta 3-2 in games of note. Cincinnati pounded Montreal 8-2. Atlanta is starting to fall apart.
San Francisco put a 6 spot in the first inning against Chicago and Kerry Wood.
San Francisco came into this game atop the NL West ahead of Arizona, but Arizona is the kind of team that would scare you in the playoffs if they make it because of Schilling and Johnson. Trammell pops this up right side. Clark through the Redbird dugout and could not make the play. You got Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. That's going to be awfully tough.
Well, Will Clark comes over to friendly territory. Tries to reach over, he checks himself, sees where he's at, and he'll try and reach over there. Eli grabbing him, trying to support him. Now you can go into the dugout, but it's kind of hard to look at a pop-up, navigate the stairs, go down the stairs, and then go over about 5 feet to try and make the play.
Further the point about Arizona, Buck Showalter, if they don't make postseason plays, probably on the way out. Christensen gets the strikeout. Comes back against Bubba Trammell. Showalter and the Diamondbacks are in trouble. They got off to that great start, but now are faltering down the stretch.
Tom Seaver was telling Tony La Russa and I about some of the at-bats of some of Matt Williams, and just said it was just some of the worst swings that he had ever seen from a bona fide hitters and RBI men. Just having to count 2-0 and 2-0 and just feebly reaching for a ball off the plate. Matty can't get an RBI right now.
They just had to borrow what, $20 million? The club did.
It's debatable whether it's 20 or 10. I mean, to me, that's still huge money.
Sure, co-signed by Major League Baseball, no doubt.
They've raised their payroll about 300% and not their revenues.
Expansion teams don't see the TV money from the network deals, and Colangelo, the owner of the Diamondbacks, has already spent that kind of money. So they won't see it for what, 5 years?
You don't get it for 5 years, but you know that going in.
Right.
It's part of your agreement. You pay a huge fee, but you go into a new city. You've got a grace period. You don't have to produce the winners, but these guys that try to put winners out there, then they have to pay for it.
Ball and 2 strikes. I think a guy named Huizinga tried doing that, didn't he?
Oh, he bought a championship and then said, okay, see you later.
Yeah.
I got my ring. And when we were in Florida, there were some newspaper reports that Huizinga was going to be offered around $800 million for the Dolphins, and apparently that offer was made today.
2-2 pitch. Slide into right. There's J.D. Drew and puts it away. Good job by Christensen out of the bullpen. A 1-2-3 inning. Langford, Renteria, Matheny due up as we move to the bottom half of the 8th. Five 5-9-0 for St. Louis. Bottom of the 8th. 5-7-0 for the Mets. Bud One Airship once again providing our aerial view of downtown St. Louis. The 11 p.m. regional sports report comes your way, hopefully after a Redbird victory. 45 minutes away. Rams camp, an NFL experience on tour with Jake Query, our fine reporter, and around the Big 12. Regional sports report at 11 nightly, only on Fox Sports Net. Turk Wendell stays in the game. Here's Langford. Looks at a strike. Langford tonight is 1 for 3 with a base hit. Ray with 20 home runs on the year. The majority of those, though, coming right here at Busch Stadium. 13 of them. Against Wendell, hitting 167.
1 home run against him.
They're tied at 5-5. 2-1 to count on Ray.
Turk Wendell came to the major leagues as one of the most
unique characters.
Unique, and you've really well advertised. And I think he made his major league start. He was a highly touted farmhand for the Atlanta Braves, but then he was traded to the Cubs. And I think he made his first start against us, and I was really disappointed. He had all this ritual and everything like that, but I finally convinced him, why don't you go pitch a little bit to major leagues, tone down your act, and then you can bring it out.
He'll still take the bag behind the mound and throw it down, and he's got the licorice, and he's always eating that. But he did those odd things about how he brushed his teeth. And
yeah, well, he ready to turn on this ball and just hooks it. But he would eat black licorice and then he'd brush his teeth after every half inning. But it was the ridiculous things like, if he stood on the mound, the catcher had to squat. If he squatted, the catcher's supposed to stand. It really didn't go over with some of the big league catchers. And so you get the ball and you throw it. And I tell you what, he's developed into an outstanding reliever.
He's got a little Robosky in it, doesn't he?
And we both throw the rosin bag well.
And that's where it stops, right?
I never had the puka shells either.
Mike Fetters had the best Robosky.
No, that's not. There's only one mad Hungarian. Trust me, I take a lot of medication every morning to keep it that way.
Thing is, I truly believe you. 2 balls and no strikes on Renteria. There's a strike, 2-1. Approaching 10:20 here at Busch Stadium. Long night of baseball. We're in the 8th and it's 5-5. Renteria right back up the middle. Go-ahead run is on at first, and that's Renteria. Renteria has a stolen base tonight. Let's see what he wants to do here in the 8th. A good piece of hitting here.
It really is, and just a controlled swing. Didn't pull off the pitch at all. Just went out, got it, took it back up the middle. Cookie Rojas, one of Valentine's coaches, just marveling. He and Renteria were together with the Florida Marlins in the World Championship. He says Renteria is one of his favorites, all-time favorites.
5-5 game, and here's Matheny. Looks at a ball. Matheny, a double play candidate. Jose Oquendo giving the signs. Let's see if he wants to send Renteria, who has a stolen base, now 18 on the year.
I think if he gets his good jump, then I have no problem with him stealing.
Not going, and it's fouled back 1-1. Matheny tonight has an RBI double back in the 2nd, a base hit and ground out. Ten hits on the night. After that last one by Renteria for the Cardinals. Polanco is on deck.
You got to get a good jump off of first, and you got to make sure he goes to the plate. Quick feet. He's picked off 3 runners this year.
Stay there.
He's watching as Renteria had his back to him. He was ready to throw over there because he was talking with Dave McKay, and he was just hoping he would take a lead without looking at the pitcher first.
1-1 the count on Mike Matheny. Popped up on the infield. Aaron has it. 2 away. That'll bring in Polanco.
Well, Polanco's a guy that can hit and run very well.
Saw the hit and run used by Tony La Russa in the 9th inning the other day against Antonio Alfonseca. It proved to be the game-winning run as Will Clark drove in Edmonds. So it's up to Polanco with 2 away. Vina on deck.
Get a lot of sliders from this guy, so that's something that you can poke to right field. There's the pitch out. That helps. You get the count in your favor.
Polanco broke a string of 0 for 13 in his first time up off the bench tonight with a base hit on the infield. He's 1 for 1. Two and 0. Reno and Vina on deck.
That's not a bad idea right there. You know, Ventura playing back, thought about dropping a bunt down. What I liked about it was there's 3 balls and maybe just get the infielders moving around, thinking about something like that. Take this one.
Rio pitch and Turquin down.
Not away. That's Polanco's so disciplined. You know, I think a lot of hitters would prefer hitting 3-1 than they do 3-0. Now, I want my runner going. As I said, make sure he goes to the plate first.
Three balls and a strike on Polanco. Runner not going, and the pitch is called a strike on the outside corner. 3-2. Now you talk about throwing over. One guy who loved it was the base burglar, and that was Lou Brock, that he would get a read on the pitcher.
Yeah, Lou told me the guy that he had the toughest time stealing against was a left-hander, and normally if you get their read, the left-hander is easy for a real good base steal. It was Don Gullett, because he never threw to first base. He said every time he took a lead, he says, I know he's never thrown.
Pitch is up and in, first and second. And it's up to Vina.
That'll drive a manager crazy. Walks late in the game. Put a man in scoring position. But Lou had said that Don Gullett never threw to first base. So he said every time he took his lead, he'd sit there and he goes, I know he's never thrown, but this is going to be the time. And he said he never could get comfortable. If he would have thrown over one time, he felt he would have found something to where he could have found the key to how to steal off of that pitcher.
Up to Vina with 2 away. 1 for 4 on the night. He's lined out, popped out, and flied out. J.D. Drew is on deck. Vina first pitch. Foul. Good to see Fernando back in there tonight. Not played during the series against the Marlins at Florida. Off day yesterday, back in there tonight.
1 for 4 in the night with an RBI and runs scored.
The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball. Fordick is there on the flip from Alfonso. We'll go to the ninth. 5-5 between the Mets and Redbirds. Views provided by the Bud 1 airship. High atop the skies here in St. Louis. It's 5-5 as we move to the ninth. Over 39,000 in attendance here at Busch Stadium. Dan McLaughlin, Al Raboski on Fox Sports Net. We got going at 6:30 tonight with Cardinals tonight. Now we're approaching 10:30 as Dave Beers will enter this game. Tied 5-5, appearing in his 58th game this season.
Picked up 2 saves in the 2 victories in Florida, giving him 23 and 24. 55 strikeouts and just 19 walks in 61 2/3 innings. Boy, an unsung hero for the Cardinals, and what a totally unselfish guy. And he had to go sign autographs at Gateway.
That was today, right?
Yeah.
NL East standings. This is updated. The Braves have lost tonight by a run, so they're now a game back. Mets can move up a game and a half if they can win. Cardinals would like to keep the Reds back at 8 games. Reds have won tonight.
Very important for the Cardinals to win this one also. They can maintain their 8-game lead over Cincinnati, who was victorious over the Expos 8-2. Those Expos will follow the Mets into St. Louis for a 4-game series. Turn the Russa goes to Dave Beers, and here for the 9th inning. Of course, we know Dave on occasion will pitch more than 1 inning. You'd like to see him retire the Mets and then have his teammates give him a lead and go home.
Stevenson, James, Christensen, and now Beers. Here's Matt Franco. Has an RBI tonight off the bench. 0-2.
Great work by the Cardinals bullpen. James, Timlin, Christensen, all zeros. Each of them got a strikeout.
Agbayani is on deck in the 0-2 pitch. A base hit into right on an 0-2 pitch. Leadoff base hit for Franco here in the ninth.
Well, you have to believe he never got the ball where he wanted it. As his split finger stays in the down, but in the middle of the plate.
Here's Agbayani. 3 walks on the night. Came in with an on-base percentage of .402 and now a pinch runner. Franco will exit this game, and I think that's Abbott.
Yeah, Kurt Abbott. So Franco gets the base hit.
And Abbott will run for him, and here's Agbayani. 3 walks on the night. He's 0 for 1. Struck out swinging back in the 3rd against Stevenson. We've seen Garrett a little sharper than he was tonight. Still kept the Cardinals in the game. 5-5 here in the ninth. There's a strike. Dave Beers. Cincinnati an 8-2 winner over Montreal. Houston 3-2 over Atlanta. And no other finals in the National League. Popped up. Will Clark diving, can't make the play.
Oh, you just hope he didn't hurt his wrist on that. What a great effort, and that's what these fans appreciate. Will comes to play. See the bunt, he pops it up. It's going to be foul. Look at Will's effort. He dives for it. Tried to backhand it there and got out right underneath him. That would have been one heck of a play. And well, you'd have to get to your feet too and make sure that Abbott didn't tag up and go to second. I just don't remember Kurt Abbott being that quick. And I know he's had some back problems. Spent a lot of time on the disabled list this year with lower back strain.
0-2 the count. 1-2. Cardinals will have Drew, Edmonds, and Clark in the bottom half of the ninth. Beers trying to keep it a 5-5 game. Agbayani primarily hit in the bottom of the order last season, but about midway through this year, Bobby Valentine put it at the top of the list, and he's really provided some offense.
I remember they had a guy leading off for him that was pretty good.
Ricky Anderson.
Like pretty good, like maybe the best ever.
Hands down. 2-2. See if Abbott wants to run here.
Let's get a double play. Strike him out, throw him out. Did that back in the first.
Most of this big crowd is stuck around, over 39,000. Tomorrow, 12:15, first pitch. Great matchup. Darryl Kyle against Mike Hampton. Deep fly ball into left. Giving chase. Langford near the line. Can't make the play.
Boy, I tell you what, that's a great effort by Ray, because you know that the new configuration here, that the stands are coming on you real quick, and he reaches out there and then runs right into, and it looked like the padding did not save him at all. Might have had his hand above the padding and ran it into the railing. But he didn't pull up at all. He challenged the stands there. Now look at little fly ball. Look, it's right there, and it was in foul territory, and you can see how quickly he didn't have any time to stop or brace himself.
2-2 the count. Runner not going, and it's a full count.
Now we got to strike him out and throw him out.
Yeah.
Mookie Wilson talking to Abbott, the runner at first.
Beers and Agbayani. Nobody out, and a full count. A man on and Abbott. He's off with the pitch. Swing and a miss. Thrown out a second. And they got him. Strike him out and throw him out. Second time we've seen that here tonight from Mike Matheny. 2 away here in the ninth.
Out away, Mike. Outstanding. Kurt Abbott thinks he was safe, but right here, you got to sit there full count. Throws the ball by Agbayani. Here you see a very strong throw, that snap tag. It looked like Vina missed him, but he sells the tag to the umpire, and with the umpire's positioning, he sits there and he couldn't really see that he missed him when he came down.
Dominio Perez will hit. Call up today by the Mets. With 2 away now, nobody on. Perez looks at a ball. Fox Sports Net in sync. By that time, we had a strikeout, and here's a throw him out.
Outstanding. Boy, has Mike Matheny been a weapon this year.
I don't think anybody realized he was this good. They knew he was going to be above average, but he is unbelievable defensively. How many games, Al, do you think he has saved by blocking balls, keeping runners at first or second, not allowing them to advance because he can block the ball? How comfortable do our pitchers feel because they know even with a man at third, they can put one in the dirt. It's not going to the backstop. There's so much more that goes into it besides receiving and throwing.
Well, and he works so well with the pitchers. He'll tell you that he wants to get to know them, get in their heads, make them feel comfortable with him, make them know that he's trying to do everything he can to help them.
There's a perfect example right there. Down on his knees, blocking the ball.
This Perez looks like he can fly.
Yeah. 2-2 the count. Part of the order coming up for the Cardinals after Beers can get Perez. Base hit up the middle. 2-out base hit for Perez.
Dave not real sharp tonight, but Matheny helped him out with that double play ball. Strike him out, throw him out. And Alfonso was just one of the guys. You know, you get into this part of the order. Alfonso, then Piazza, Ventura. These guys are big-time clutch hitters.
Perez, his first ever hit at the major league level.
First major league at bat.
You're right, Al. He looks like he can run. He's at first with 2 away. And here's Alfonso. 18 home runs on the year, 79 RBIs. Beers trying to get out of the top half of the ninth. To keep it 5-5.
Out.
Perez with the 2-out base hit against Dave Beers. Here's Alfonso. Tonight he has fly to right, fly to center, struck out and grounded out. 0 for 4.
Hey, Mike, you missed
Hitting 322 on the year. Runner is going. First pitch, throw by Matheny. He got him too. And a standing ovation for Mike Matheny.
Boy.
What else can you say, Al? He's been unbelievable this season. Mike Matheny has now thrown out 3 in this game. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Bud Light. The great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Mike Matheny here at Busch Stadium is on his way to a Gold Glove, I think, in 2000. He's thrown out 3 tonight. He came in having thrown out 47% of would-be base stealers. It's a 5-5 game as we move to the bottom of the ninth. And a new pitcher in, Al, for the New York Mets.
Pat Mahomes will take over here. Mahomes is 4-2 on the year, an ERA at 5.62. He's appearing for the 44th time. 83 in the 3rd innings, more hits, and look at that, 60 walks, 65 strikeouts. Well, here's a guy that you really have to say, you know, you like to use him in the middle reliever. Here's a guy late in the game that you have to beat.
Mike Matheny thrown out 3 tonight. Also has an RBI double and a base hit. Has a hit streak that has been extended here tonight at Busch Stadium. Nothing short of spectacular defensively this year for Mike Matheny. And the hit streak is now at 9 games.
But you know, Mike, too, he just such a good job of taking care of himself, conditioning, and being ready to play on an everyday basis. Day game tomorrow, but I wouldn't surprise me at all if he's back in there.
Right. Here's J.D. Drew, Edmonds, and then Clark. Drew is homered here tonight. A 2-run bomb, 416 feet away into right. He's 2 for 3 with a single and a walk with that 2-run shot. And the momentum, because of Matheny, has swung in the favor of the Cardinals.
Most definitely, and of course J.D. can do a lot to sustain that. But right now, as we got the heart of our order against one of their middle relievers, you have to say you've got to do it now.
Alfonso to first and 1 away. That'll bring in Jim Edmonds. We've talked about.
Now you like to see it in motion on the field, and there you see so proud of himself, but his teammates are equally as proud. Boy, they know what he just did to pick them up. And usually when you have something like that is when that big mo, that momentum carries you on to victory.
Here's Edmonds. 1 for 4 tonight with a single and an RBI.
Jim's a high ball hitter, but boy, he gets a little wild swinging at pitches that are up and out of the strike zone.
Popped up. Out of play. 0-2. Edmonds first 2 times up, struck out. He popped out to first and picked up an RBI base hit in his last at bat. It's 5-5 here in the ninth. Will Clark is on deck. 1 away and an 0-2 count, nobody on. Last game in Florida was Edmonds and Clark. They provided the heroics and a win. What will happen here tonight? Edmonds, a drive into right. Is it enough? Cardinals won it on Edmonds' home run here in the ninth. 6-5 the final.
Now you see some emotion, Danny. Look at these guys. Look at Polanco just jumping up and down like a little kid.
These are the kind of games, Al, you look back and you say, this is when you win championships.
That's right. It's games like this, and don't think that that wasn't important to it against the New York Mets. Their first victory in 7 games against the Mets, a team that is used to winning games late.
The hero is Edmonds, but
look at Mark McGwire out there, too.
Mike Matheny has to have a lot of credit.
Mike Matheny allowed Edmonds to be the hero, the ultimate hero. But Beers gets the win, but Mike Matheny threw out 3 runners here. Remember, they're in the 9th inning. Dave Beers on. He gives up a couple hits, and Mike Matheny just does a great job to give them an opportunity to win it.
Hey, Cardinal fans, tonight's play of the game is brought to you by Bud Light. Just moments ago, Jim Edmonds goes deep, and that's a game winner. The Cardinals win it 6-5 on Edmonds' solo home run here in the ninth. The great Tay said, won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light, and there's Edmonds. The curtain call, over 39,000 here at Busch.
Danny, how many times do you see better than 30,000 fans stick around to give somebody a curtain call?
Not many times, but this Cardinal team is on their way to a championship here in 2000. The Redbirds win it by the score of 6-5. Dave Beers the win, Mahomes the loss. For Al Rabowski and all the gang, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Sunday on KPLR is our next telecast. We'll see you then.